Yeah.
Hey, Evans.
So just so everyone's aware, we already kind of talked about it. Both ships are maintaining their own individual momentum pool that only their ship can pull from. Since I have so much threat, I think that would be probably the fairest way to do this.
So much.
And and I am going for blood tonight. So yeah.
Why is it I feel that you are threatening us?
8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, you guys do have 13. Okay.
Oh God.
So we're down. Oh yeah, your engineer, which should be on later. Cool.
Right.
Okay.
So are you going to take the full 14 characters worth of threat, or...
Fuck.
Yeah, go on,
You
do
know
it.
what? I'm doing it. Screw you guys.
Damn it.
Wait, what's
That's
being done? I didn't catch that.
8 red.
28? Oh gosh.
28.
Oh no!
When have you guys known me to actually use all my threat?
This is
You do
true,
make an excellent point.
but still, you'll have so much. I don't think you'll feel any restraint in burning through it.
Hey, but now you don't have a reason not to use torpedoes, because, like, what is 30 compared to 28?
This is true.
Now I'm gonna.
That is what is he gonna do? Use all of his threat?
Just drown him in threat.
I'll keep giving him more from me.
Phase
Oh,
5
no.
fields
So-
for everybody.
All right. So if everybody's ready to go, if anybody has any questions, now would be the time. If not, I think it's perfect time to start.
We gonna die.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is my goal.
I think my only question here is how many bold people do we have?
Me!
How many what?
How many people with the bold trait do we have?
Me!
I think everybody needs to mute except for the captains and Edward, because there's too much squash.
Yeah, you guys could do that if everyone wants to do like a push to talk.
Who asked if they had the bold trait? Like, which one was that?
Oh, that was me asking how many people have bold.
I have bold for science.
Mad scientist.
Old con.
Hey, I ain't in the operations officer. I'm trying not to kill you all. Try as a keyword.
Much appreciated.
All right, let me turn my book to the page I need it to, and then I am ready. All right, so yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. All right, so everyone has the mission screen. I'll go ahead and set it to the Admiral's Ready Room. And here we go. Admiral's personal log, stardate 52192.2. I have just received word that a large crystal fleet is heading straight toward Narenda Station. I have recalled all ships under my command to Narenda so that we can work out a plan to deal with this threat. My hope is that the engine was able to find useful information in that nebula that can help us create some sort of defense against these crystals. Something that can give us the edge we need. There has already been enough death and destruction with the Dominion War. We can hardly afford another one. I also learned that Captain Grennan has been rescued from the Crystal Planet. Hopefully he can shine some light on just what or who we are dealing with. We still have no idea what these things are. Are we fighting an entity? Are we fighting some sort of spacefaring creature acting out of instinct? Is this a new sentient species with a first contact gone wrong? I wish I had more information to go off of. Then perhaps I wouldn't need to send more of my people into harm's way. But as it stands, we have a potentially hostile force coming to meet us. And if it is a fight they want, then it is a fight they will get. And so both ships arrive at Narenda Station. You guys have been given orders to dock with the station. And the captains haven't received orders to meet the Admiral at her ready room.
Okay. Do we show up separately, or should what?
So far you guys are in space, so if there's anything you want to do in space.
Commander,
Yes, sir.
start docking procedures and notify me once we've been docked. I'll be in my ready room.
Aye, Captain.
So probably about this point, the Kismet probably starts making its approach, and I turn to Varro on the bridge and I say, "Oh, there she is, the Imjin."
Tough little ship.
So I hear.
I'd be interested to meet her commander at some point.
Lieutenant Pend, bring us in.
Yes, Captain.
All right, and both ships are dock around the same time, and I'm assuming both captains start to head toward the admiral's office. Since both captains are heading from different directions, both of the captains meet just outside of the admiral's office door, each meeting each other kind of head on.
Captain,
Captain.
I'd
Harmon.
extend my hand to shake his hand.
Harmon takes it and shakes it. Said, "I hear you've been having quite a go of these crystalline creatures."
They are a difficult species to deal with, but the Imjin has had little trouble with them so far.
Yes, I wish we could say the same on our end. The situation with these entities are far more complicated than we initially thought. It's not as a belligerent species bent on conquest.
It's too bad we didn't have an experienced diplomat to meet them first.
Harmon's mouth just tightens. He does not respond to that.
Well, Captain, I think we should not keep the Admiral waiting. And I buzz the door.
Enter.
And then I enter.
And the door slides open, and I'm assuming you both kind of walk in.
I walk in and stand at
Harmon
attention.
waits a couple of seconds before following behind Captain Sterix.
So you guys see the captain. So if you look at the captain's ready room, she is sitting behind her desk. She does look that young, if you guys are wondering. And she looks at the captain and says, "Captain's report."
Well, I suppose I may as well begin since our ship was the one that unfortunately started this whole mess. I assume that you've read over the preliminary reports that were sent out 2 days ago?
Yes, Captain. I want to hear it in your own words, though.
Of course. Well, 2 days ago, the Kismet encountered a rogue planetoid. We've yet to give it a name because soon after going down to explore the planet, things went pear-shaped. It would appear that this planet is host to intelligences, multiple. A race of what we could only describe as energy beings that use the crystalline medium of the planet as a way to exist. In our explorations, being unaware of this fact, we accidentally discharged some of these energy patterns. We believe that juveniles of this species are less stable and more prone to dispersal. And so, on stumbling upon one of their nurseries, as best as we could call it, we accidentally killed some of their young. Completely unintentional, of course.
Has any attempt been made to make contact with these entities?
I have attempted twice now, Admiral, to no avail. Not so much as a response.
My exo during the time of our capture. However, I am the only one who has had However, my away team are the only ones who have actually had any kind of communication one-on-one with these beings, and I'm the only one who has spoken with one.
Did you learn anything from this encounter, Captain?
Well, first of all, I've met with two of these beings. One seemed to be in a very strict position of authority and was furious at our transgressions, understandably so. I attempted some very simple diplomacy, simple diplomatic overtures to try to smooth things over. They were not receptive. We were captured and locked away in a crystal cage. Now for the one bit of good news that I do have about all of this. It would appear that these crystalline creatures don't speak with a unified mind. I encountered another one of their kind. A young girl.
A young girl.
Yes. And she seemed curious about us, not automatically hostile. This signals to me that this species isn't 100% sure what to make of us just yet. Because this girl let us out of our cage shortly after the away team that had come to rescue us was surrounded along with us on the planet's surface. We were surrounded. They had us dead to rights. When another voice, quick out of character question, was it the same voice
Yes.
that had boomed the second time? Okay. When the first voice, the one that had condemned us the first time, told them to let us go, and they obeyed.
That's very interesting, Captain. That if there's a path to diplomacy, we should definitely explore that. Captain Starex, have you learned anything about their ship movements?
We have reported to you about the incoming fleet, and we did uncover some data on them. My engineers are looking over it now.
I think we definitely need to try to decipher that information as quickly as possible. Captain Grennan, how about you send some of your crew members to help the engine crew and use the labs on the station? I believe they are better suited for this task than your ships are. Let's try to pull as much information off of the engine's data as possible.
Of course, and the Kismet's advanced research facilities would probably also be of assistance working in tandem with the station.
Right. I don't care how we do this, guys, but we do have a fleet bearing down on us, and if that information can help us find an edge, we're gonna have to find it.
I turn to Captain Starex and say, "How much time did you say we have?"
Fleet should be here in a few hours.
Okay. We have a few hours. I assume that we're dismissed?
Yes, get to work, captains.
Understood.
I will have my engineers come to the station ASAP. And then I'm gonna comm badge over to Kerr.
Yes, sir. Kerr here.
I need you to take the chief petty officer and come to the station and bring with you all the data we collected. You'll be meeting officers from the Kismet who will assist you in decoding it. Understood?
Understood. On my way, sir.
Starex out.
I turn to Starex.
Now, I'm
and
just
say-
assuming that he gave us a place to locate, so I'm gonna, go there. But That was forgotten. Yeah. Where are we going? No? Okay, never mind. We just meet up someplace then. Good.
Probably ops.
You were
Ops of the
saying-
space station.
Mechanically, does the station have a sheet that? Because I know it functions as a ship.
Right. Yeah, that's true. It should because the Beta Quadrant book.
You're back.
So
Oh,
wait,
sorry. Space stations on the research labs on the space station sound fine, so that's where we'll go. We'll fix it later.
So I before you do that real quick, I just want to turn to Captain Starex and say, if it would please you, I have an officer who I think would be of great assistance to you in working over strategic and tactical plans.
I
say something?
won't turn away help, Captain. If you think it's necessary, you can have them report to Commander Prax, and he will set something up.
Understood. I tap my comm badge and I say, Captain Grennan to Commander Varro.
Varro here.
If you would please report to Narendra Station, I want you to work with some people from the Imjin on some tactical plans for the upcoming fleet engagement, should it come to that.
Understood, sir. And I head to the transfer reporter room.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and jump to scene number 2. And I got a little something to read to you guys really quick. So during this scene, all the players may get into teams and try to organize and interpret the data from the scan that the engine got. I have this task taking place basically at the same time. So once the characters are assigned to a task, they cannot move to a different task. And all of the tasks to try to find out information about the enemy ships, about the enemy's weapons and all that stuff, they're all going to be extended task. All of them are difficulty 4, minus a separate one. But most of them are difficulty 4, work 8, magnitude 3, resistance 1. And each task can only be attempted 4 times. And for every breakthrough you guys get, I will give you a piece of information.
Okay.
I'm not
So
sure
if
how
that makes sense.
I do have reason. I think I could do something with it, actually. Yeah, I'm actually pretty good at science. But, xenobiology could work here as well, actually. Shit, this could really...
Yeah, let's come at it from a biological angle as well.
Kerr is xenobiology, so you can join in.
So yeah, so essentially so kind of like what I'm thinking for this part is you guys are going to be trying to study like a very focused part of the crystal ship that you're able to scan. So like some examples would be like its propulsion system, its weapon system, its defense system, and stuff like that.
Do we know if the ship itself is alive?
Not yet, though we could make that hypothesis.
That's a good hypothesis to make. We do know about the crystalline entity. This could be from a similar sort of classification of species, of course.
We've determined that that's not the case.
Right. Do we know if it's silicon-based life?
I believe we've made that inference.
Well, actually,
But not
the inference
confirmed
we came to was that it's energy-based life that uses crystal as a medium
Right. So
and has the ability to shape crystal using piezoelectric movement.
So you said we need to split up into groups?
That's kind of how I see it, because these are more difficult tasks, like they're difficulty 4. So you might have like a leader, then with whoever crew is assisting them to try to get the role.
That makes sense.
Well, if we
So can we get those tasks then, like the different
Yeah.
ones that we need to do?
So
or are
how-
those for us to
so-
determine?
So yes, no, that's exactly. It's for you guys to determine. So let's say if you were to put both engineers, they're going to tell me exactly what they're looking for. And then I'm going to pick from the task I have set up which information they're going to pull from. And it
Okay.
may be possible that you guys do the wrong thing, in which case I'm going to give you another piece of information for that.
Okay.
Well, we've already kind of set up a tactical group and an engineering group because I sent the engineers and he sent the XO.
I thought that was all one group, not two separate groups, but all one.
Well, I told him to send the XO to my ship where I'm headed and Captain Prax or Commander Prax is. And I told you to go to the station to meet his engineering officer.
I think we need to figure out a better way to do this because this is becoming really confusing because there's 12 to 15 people in here. So maybe if we could like type text on the screen that everybody could see or something so that we could start separating this out and making sense.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
without any visuals to show where people are separated and what group people in, we're just going to keep being confused all day. We need little like something on the screen to show, okay, I'm a part of this group. This is so everybody knows what
Yeah,
they're doing.
just start dragging people's names over. Like you guys have the power to do that on the screen.
Right.
So I'll just throw it on the spacey one, and just start dragging people's names and however you guys need to do that. Like we already talked about this. You guys have full control over what's on the screen.
What categories are we doing right now? I know there's a tactical and engineering group. Should we put a
Oh.
science group as well?
That.
Wait, where'd I go?
I just
see the-
disappeared.
You see the names at the bottom? You guys don't need to bring out tokens. Just grab your name at the bottom by the 3 bars and move them to locations. Like I did here. See Commander Kara's up in the middle of the screen.
I just see tactical on the screen.
Yeah, I just see tag.
Oh, we can't see the
No,
names move?
Oh,
No,
someone's
that's
putting
me
the
putting the
groups.
names up right now. I'm putting the names up.
Yeah,
You
I
don't
think you
see
do-
Kara
think
underneath it?
No, I think
Uh,
moving the icons only does it on Europe.
Oh, well, that sucks. Okay, never mind. Let me get my token then. Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go to the characters' names and drag them out. I think. Yeah, something like that.
Now that it's out there, could you make it a little bit smaller? That's the part I don't have option to right now.
Nope.
Just grabbing the
Wanna do
transform.
that, Varro.
Yeah.
I'm glad we have Worf.
Wait, where did that
Wait,
come
who just
from?
dropped?
There are very few pictures of Klingons in Starfleet uniforms, so this is the closest we can go. Annoyingly,
It's true.
Wait, who's a
Who's,
Klingon?
Chief Petty Officer Katork.
I cannot get. How do you do this?
You go to your character sheet and you drag the portrait off of it, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, FYI for future reference,
Oh.
Truck, a good method for doing this is you could do it with Star Trek Online.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But Star doesn't.
Thing
it
is,
Klingons.
Klingons and
Union
yes,
Union Mounted?
Klingons and Starfleet are a you have to pay for that.
I know a way around that.
It's a big
Yeah,
ass
you can make an alien character and you have access to the Klingon ridges then.
Oh, well, there's
shit,
that.
I
and you
forgot about that.
or you can also do what I do, and you could have a Klingon bridge officer, and use the outfit editor.
True, don't you have to get a diplomatic rank 4 for that?
I love you guys, but we could talk about this later. All
Sure.
hints and trips of pictures and all these extra things can be after the game.
Yeah.
Right now we're trying to organize.
I
Yeah,
can't
so
get-
those pictures, so the 2 people in control that have GM permission, could you
You're
make
gonna
those
want a
pictures?
smaller picture there.
Well, no,
how
the
do I
picture is
move, how do I
fine.
put the picture out there?
They just need to be
Yeah, I also need more picture.
transformed, just dragged smaller right now. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
We'll get this figured out. It's our first time doing fleet action. It'll
I-
actually take a little bit
I
longer.
can't move mine.
Get off ruler. Get off the ruler.
Or at least
Where are you
I'm
trying to
not
move? Tactical?
figuring out. Yeah.
Where's tactical? Wait.
Wait, did somebody move mine, or did I manage to do that?
I just moved yours.
Oh, I thought I figured it out.
To
So you want to select the top thing on the bar on the left. I think you have it on measure, and it needs to be on select.
Oh,
can you make
that's
that
the problem.
smaller?
What do you need smaller?
Mr.
Control.
Wolf.
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go.
I mean, you guys can resize these. You don't need me to do it.
No, we
I
can't.
cannot.
No, we can't. Only the chief.
Because you guys have been resizing them the entire time. I'm the only one with. So any
No,
resizing was you guys.
Michelson can do it.
I took them off yesterday.
Oh, because
So,
we
so yeah,
can't.
you just gotta click on the picture and one of the boxes around the side. You just gotta move.
There are no boxes around the side.
Yeah, that is not true.
Yeah. I think some people
Only
have
the-
permission to change sizes, but some people don't.
Yeah, well,
Like-
again, that's odd.
Yeah, because usually only GM is allowed to do that.
Yeah, because someone's been doing it, and I'm the only one with GM privileges. So
Can someone try to move me? Because I can't get anything to happen.
Which one are you? He's the one with all the
Starix.
duplicates.
What?
I don't see any
What?
duplicates.
Yeah, I don't
Duplicates?
see duplicates either.
I don't see anything.
And if everything's working correctly, we should only be able to grab our own token. So I can't grab anybody else's right now. Only my own.
I can grab.
Oh, I
other
can grab
people's,
everybody's.
but I can't see mine.
Okay. Then
Yeah,
somebody
I-
has a whole bunch
yeah,
of
I don't even see the Captain Starks' character token.
So, Starks, do you have an image on your character sheet that you've dragged off of it?
I have. Yeah, like I can grab my name and draw it to the screen, but nothing happens
Your name from the
from the bar on the side.
Did you upload a specific image?
Yes.
Well, click on the image, hold left click, and drag it onto the stars.
You might have to. I might have it
Yeah, that
set
just
as use
highlights
specific token. So
That just highlights the whole left bar.
Now remember, like Captain Starks' token is not in anything anymore. So I don't know if maybe there was maybe when you were adjusting stuff, it got messed up.
The question, I think, is do enough people have it that we can compensate for the people who don't?
I think so.
Because that's my inclination here. Enough people have a visible token that we can add to those. Just mentally keep those notes.
Well, the other thing is you could take text and type their name and move the text around. So their name could be a text box.
Oh, that's true.
Sure.
Yeah, you want me to put in Captain Starx's name?
Yep.
Sure, do that real quick.
Where do you want it, by the way? Which of the 3 categories?
Assuming he's in tactical.
Yeah.
We've got a bit of weight in tactical right now.
I was about to suggest that not Starx, that Starrel could move to science probably.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too.
You gotta go to reason there.
He has science skill 4.
Okay, yeah, he might be more valuable in science then.
He has tactical 4 too as well, but yeah, we need more science.
Is that everybody?
Laurel's got security 5, so.
Oh, I do have a quick
Let's see,
question.
1, 2,
down
3,
to
4,
the,
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people on the screen so far.
Yeah, I think you need Lieutenant Kia.
Imogen Medical, we need.
Oh, see, I just draw Kia's on the screen, but I couldn't get mine.
Yeah, I know they put your token in all the other things, like in all the other Imogen stuff, but it's not on any of them anymore.
Huh. That's weird.
So
Yeah.
the other 2 were missing.
We are missing Da-da-da.
Yeah, we got Lieutenant Kia.
Do we have Ensign Michelson?
Oh yeah, where is Darius?
So, looks like our regular medical officer is here as well.
I have a just super quick question for Ed before we start this.
Yep.
Do I lose that determination that you gave me a couple sessions ago?
Yes.
Ah, damn it.
This
Okay.
was just to get you down on the planet.
It was a trap.
It was a trap determination, and I took it
Okay,
like a sucker.
3, 4,
I
5,
didn't take
6,
it.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, there's 12.
Who's not on here now? I think Lieutenant Commander Maru. Although I don't know what your new name is going to be.
Timur Dow.
How about we do this?
Timur
I'll read the names from top to bottom in
I
Discord. and you tell me they're on
I think we
there.
got it. I think it's Tim
Found it.
Wardell. I think is the only one that's not on there.
And that's fine. It can be somewhere. We'll figure that out.
You could put
Probably
me-
engineering.
Just
I
make
think.
it. Just make another text thing and put it on there, just so that we should have everybody accounted for.
Stick me in engineering. I can do that.
Oh, we only have 2 people in engineering. I might.
We got
wanna do-
3, but
Oh, who's the third?
Lieutenant Commander Dell. I can't do a text box. Somebody. Okay, there we go.
Okay. So where do we want to start?
Well, I think engineering has to decode the information or whatever to give it to tactical and science. So I imagine we need to give you guys some results for you guys to work off of. Tactical.
I think these are all happening in tandem.
Yeah, so basically how this is working is you guys are going to be at science stations aboard the station, except for the people that might be on the ships. Where people's positions are don't really matter at this point. It's the tasks that matter. So you guys could essentially put your wherever. But so you guys are going to be pouring through the data looking for specific things. And you're going to tell me what those things are. The task roles are pretty much all the same, and they're all extended task. And for every breakthrough you guys get, I give whoever's on that team a bit of information. And then you guys can kind of role play what you guys found and talk about it. But if you guys do something wrong, like if you guys look for something that you can't find, you're going to get something to that effect.
Okay.
And here's the big piece of information. Since you guys are limited in time because the fleet's on the way, each task can only be attempted 4 times.
Okay.
And I'll let you guys know if you get all the information, but if you don't, you might have to do some special things to get it.
What'd I miss?
Oh my.
We are setting up for a bunch of joint extended tasks right now to analyze the crystalline life forms and their technology, biology, everything about them.
Probably
I
moving
thought
to
scanning
engineering?
killed them, though.
We don't know. So right now, engineering is working on analyzing data that the Imogen collected, as are tactical and science, I believe, just in different ways.
What do I roll for determining the engine thing?
Okay, so you're trying to figure out how they move?
Yes, because I was the one that tried to theorize it the first time and screwed it up.
Okay, so go ahead and put Ensign Liarca on propulsion and movement, because that's going to be a separate task.
Okay. Might want to put Pend on that.
Yeah, I
as
just
well.
gotta say Alpha Cal moved to that one.
All right, I am on. Where is the propulsion?
Hold on.
Oh my goodness, there's so much people in here.
Yeah.
Okay, typing it out.
Okay, so we just got the 2 people on it.
On propulsion,
I think that's.
So is the station
down to
actually
better.
assisting in any way?
I don't have anything going to be assisting in this. It's just you guys.
What was it? Propulsion and what?
Like propulsion and movement, basically. Like
What
learning
about
how the
warp-
ships move.
How about warp field dynamics? Because that's technically what they were doing earlier.
Yeah,
They were
if you,
actually in
yeah,
warp.
if you guys have anything that you think would help you determine how a ship moves, I'm going to let you use.
cool.
Okay.
Now, I'd
Um,
recommend that we use the Kismet's science facilities. It has advanced research labs, and if the station does not have any sheet, then we should make use of the facilities on board the ship
Yeah.
for at least one of these groups. I understand that not all of them are going to be able to use that, but perhaps the science or engineering should work from Kismet.
Okay.
What's the good thing on the Imgen ship?
We don't have anything that's going to help
Because
with
it says
research.
whenever a character on board the ship attempts a task to perform research and they are assisted by the ship's computers and science, they get a bonus momentum which must be used for the obtained information spend.
Yeah, that's not relevant here the way I have it set up.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So that's why I was saying, like, basically you guys are going to be on the station's labs doing this, because there's, like, the way I set this up to work is you're not really obtaining information. You guys are making breakthroughs, and those breakthroughs are giving you the information. So even though these are extended tasks, every breakthrough you guys get is going to give you a piece of information.
All right.
What would I need to? How do I roll? I'm sorry, this is the first time I've ever rolled.
Right.
Wait, so we're starting with movement and propulsion?
Yeah, that seems like a good place as any. So whoever is at propulsion, so whoever's in the propulsion and movement section, figure out who's going to get the main task role, then who's going to assist. And the task role for this is reason or insight, plus con, difficulty 4, and then it's a work track of 8, magnitude 3, resistance 1.
Hang on. Reason or insight and discipline what?
And using your con.
Oh, con, not engineering. Okay.
Right.
What's the
That makes
difficulty here?
Michelson a good.
And the difficulty is 4.
I've got a 14 total.
How long is the work
I
track?
have 13 total
I've got
with
12.
reason and con.
Any of you guys have a value that could come in handy?
I got a focus of warp field dynamics.
I've got a value of always has a backup plan.
I've got a value of precise to a fault.
Oh, precise.
Should have shipboard navigation systems.
I got no value that kicks in for that. Does a focus give a bonus by chance or no?
Yes.
The way you do here's how you do it. You'll see a thing that says focus, yes, no. At the
Okay.
top of your sheet. It says focus used, no or yes.
It's where you roll your dice.
Right.
Alright. I already clicked yes, and the complication range is 4.
No, the complication range is 1.
1.
The difficulty is not tracked on that. The difficulty just means you need that many successes.
Okay, so task roll is 4.
No, the task roll is either going to be 2 or 1. That's how many dice you're rolling. So for a normal task roll, you're rolling 2 dice. If you're assisting in this, you're only going to roll 1 dice. So one person can roll the 2 dice. Everyone else is going to be assisting on this task.
Well, what do you have for talents?
Collaboration engineering. I know my ship untapped potential.
Ooh, wait. Did you say collaboration engineering?
Yes.
Am I able to use bold con for this?
Of course you are.
Of course.
Yes. So I would have
I think Ensign Michelson has the best numbers here to do the primary role.
Yeah,
But
9
it's
and
not-
4.
Does
Or
focus
9 and
give
5.
a bonus or not? That's the.
Focus does not give you a bonus. Focus gives you better chance to crit.
Right.
Okay.
And the thing with Pend is if he does his bold and gives the GM a threat, he gets to re-roll one of his dice.
I have the same thing.
Oh,
I have both gone.
And collaboration is if I think it's if I assist someone, I give them a bonus.
no.
Collaboration engineering means you can give someone your engineering discipline score when you're in tandem with them, essentially. That's not going to help in this instance. 'cause
No.
this is-
No.
Yeah.
Your focuses will help here, possibly, in your assist roll, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, do you want to roll Michelson, or should I with bold con?
I'll roll it. I'll go on ahead and do the bold con. Question though, do I get a focus in computers?
I'll give it to you
Okay. Cool.
because you're using a computer.
And you're gonna
Yeah.
roll 3 dice.
So I
I'm
get
rolling
a
3 dice.
so I get a threat. Is that what I just heard?
Yep.
Yes, I'm using bold con.
Okay.
So there's that. 3 dice and roll.
And you can
Okay,
you can
reroll
re-roll that,
0.
yeah.
Yeah, I can re-roll the 0. That is a failure.
That is a failure. So then we got the 2 assist.
Yeah. 2 assists.
Okay.
Got one.
And how do I? Again, I haven't rolled before. That's why I'm asking.
Right. So on your sheet, so for this task roll, you are going to select your con discipline. So you just kind of click on the word for con.
Okay, and then click reason.
And then it's either reason or insight, whichever is higher.
Reason.
And then you're going to go to task roll. You're going to select number 1, and then you're going to hit the little Starfleet icon that's next to that. And then that rolls your
Okay.
dice.
And that's 4.
That does it.
Perfect.
All right.
Okay. So I am going to give this to all of the people that just rolled, and I will come back to you guys to discuss that. I'm going to go on to the next roll right now. And if I send it to the wrong person, I am sorry. I should have only sent it to 3, right?
Yeah.
So we all know this information, or only one of us.
So all 3 of you, since you all kind of did that, you all kind of came to the same conclusion while you're looking at it. Then we'll go ahead and move on to the next group. So that's the first bit of information. Go ahead and roll me. I forgot to do this. Go ahead and roll me the work for that.
1 second, guys.
Okay.
My computer is being screwy.
So you're gonna roll 7 challenge dice.
So
Yeah.
just roll 7 challenge. Okay.
Yep.
That
What
was
happens
me.
if there's nothing?
It's just the person that did the task.
Okay. For a moment, I'm like, is that bad?
Well, but for future reference, it probably didn't roll it properly because you have to hit enter before you click the button.
The challenge die roller is
Okay.
And you got 4 of the work tracks, so you're halfway there.
Cool.
All right, so then we'll go on to one of the next groups.
I think avoid.
Oh, and sorry, I forgot this is Resistance 1, so you only got 3 work in that. So whoever wants to go next, whichever group.
Tactical can go.
All
Yeah,
right,
so first we need to decide what exactly we're doing with tactical, I think.
right.
I think we know they don't have shields because that's been a thing we've seen.
So perhaps analyze their... We could either analyze, I think, their weapons or try to figure out what their defense capabilities entail.
Let's try to let's figure out their defense capabilities. Like how well they can take damage or how they can take damage, things like that.
All right.
All right, so this is going to be reason or insight plus security, difficulty 4.
I
And
think I
then-
should roll that
I definitely should not roll that.
because my insight security is 17.
Okay, I will
Dang.
assist.
And all of these tasks are magnitude 3.
What does that one mean again? Sorry.
That means I need 3 breakthroughs to overall achieve the task.
Okay, and we've
But,
got
but for every breakthrough, I'm giving you a piece of information. So,
right.
which I kind of did the other one wrong, but that's okay.
Will shipboard tactical systems work as a focus here?
Yes.
Thought so. Just making sure.
Since I'm in the thick of it with him, can I use lead by example?
So how lead by example works is you basically have to do a successful task, and then the other person gets the benefits of that.
And
Yep,
then
2 rolls.
Commander Prax and Lieutenant Evans
Testing,
are.
testing, wham bam bow. Oogie can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yep.
we can.
Aye, aye.
Cool. So are Commander Prax and Lieutenant Evans assisting on this as well?
Yes.
So
And then don't forget. So we got Evans, one of the captains, and both commanders on this, from what I'm seeing.
correct.
Okay.
We're clumping up a little bit in an attempt to push this one through, so we get it all.
Cool.
Okay, task roll 2. Fingers crossed.
It's strategy / tactics count as a focus for this.
What's that?
Strategy and tactics count as a focus.
Yeah, I'll allow it.
Sheesh.
Does tactical systems count as a?
Yeah, I
as
use
a-
that one.
Yep.
so-
Okay.
And you need the
Oh, I'm
crit.
only supposed to roll 1.
Yeah, roll 1. I'll let you re-roll that because you basically need a crit here.
And you can roll reason or security, whichever one's easier. Or I mean, reason or insight. Sorry.
My insight is better by 1.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
People.
We'll move on to the next group. I guess we could do the engineering group.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Grennan is in science. Okay.
Yeah, hang on a sec. I had to reload roll 20 as it was acting up.
All right. Well, we're going to do the engineering, so you're not up. So for the engineering, it's going to be. Well, first tell me what you're doing, and then I'll tell you what the role is.
There was an idea earlier, and I'm just trying to remember what it was specific
Oh, wait.
to engineering. Since we, like I said, because since propulsion and movement is already done, which is a part of engineering, now we got to flip to something else like hull, life support. Maybe see if the same cord that destroys the crystalline entities is close to what destroys this. We know they're separate, but you never know. A sound cord is a sound cord.
I have a
You
focus.
could analyze like the structure of them to see what their weak point might possibly
Thank
be
you.
or something.
The weak point. Thank you. There we go. That is where we're going for the weak point. I have in a nick of time engineering 3 or science 3 that whenever I succeed at engineering or science task as part of the extended task, I get 1 additional work for every effect roll.
Nice.
That is very useful.
Just a quick question, Ed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was the difficulty the same on ours as it was on the movement and propulsion?
That is correct.
Okay. Then I need to add a 4 there. Okay. Good. And then
So for most of these extended tasks, the difficulty is 4, except for the science people. Their difficulty is going to be 5.
let me just go ahead and do that now while I'm at 58. That's your difficulty. 58. Okay. Nope, there we go. 5.
Then for this engineering task, it's going to be reason or insight plus engineering difficulty 4.
Okay, I have 5 plus 7, so all 12 in that.
Question: what does the red 0 mean?
It means that you critically failed, and
You rolled a 20.
and had I taken that roll, I could either create a complication using that, or I can just bank the threat.
But fortunately, it was a misroll.
Right.
How can I tell what they exactly rolled?
Just hover over the number, and then there'll be a number in parentheses, and that's the number. So like if you hover over that red 0, it'll show you a red 20. That's where the number is on every single roll.
Okay, so 1's like the best and 20's the worst.
Correct.
Okay, it's D&D 2.0. I got this now.
Well, no, D&D
No,
inverse.
it's Will Wheaton 2.0.
Nice.
Will Wheaton advanced.
Okay, so I am definitely spending a momentum to get the third die. That's happening.
Do we have a momentum?
You do not have momentum.
You guys said at the beginning that we did. So
You-
okay,
You,
where did it go?
No. we
no
don't
one
have
has momentum. You have determination. That's what they were talking about.
Okay, then where was the roll so that we could earn some momentum before we?
There was
start?
none.
Oh, because he
That's-
picked up threat. So
Right.
Threat to buy an extra die.
Okay, then I'm giving him another. All right, good deal.
Okay.
Because if I don't have momentum, I can definitely spend threat to do it. Good deal.
Sure can.
All right, so task roll is my focus. Let's see, we have xenobiology, so definitely put in that. We've talked about that early, and also metallurgy. Now I know that's not the same as crystal, but it's still a hard surface. Yep. And now let's see. I've told it the complication rate. Okay, complication of 4. I got that, but why isn't it giving me my 3 dice? Why isn't it? Okay.
No, not complication range 4. It's difficult.
Oh.
Nice.
All right. So then I just need the assist from the other 2 people in engineering.
Okay,
what's
so
the roll
what
for the
check do we
assist?
roll then? Inside and engineering as well.
Insight or reason, I believe.
So on this complication range is not the same as difficulty, 1 through 5.
Right. The difficulty is just how many successes. Complication range is something different.
Think
So-
about difficulty like an armor class, kind of.
So it's insight plus engineering or reason and engineering.
Right.
And then
we
the
roll
luckily-
one dice.
range is
Luckily, the complication thing didn't affect my roll, so that's still good at least then.
What's our complication range then? Sorry.
Complication is 1 for this.
Okay, and is task roll just automatically 2, right?
You're going to be 1 since you're assisting. So for your task roll, it's going to be the number 1.
Okay.
Perfect.
There we
So
go.
who's gonna
1,
get
2,
that
3,
momentum?
4,
The
5.
torque is good. So far, you guys banked 2 momentum, and I think since you guys are working together, you guys can kind of direct where it goes.
Well, science, that's next.
Well, I mean, like to what ship? So in this case, since you got 2, you could give 1 to each if you want.
Yeah,
Or if like you notice the next roll maybe has more people in the Kismet, you can maybe put 2 in the Kismet. It's up to you guys how they go. So
Well,
right now, you guys have 2 momentum to spread out somewhere.
Well, who's all on science? Is there in the science group? Is there one from each ship?
There are 2 from each ship.
Okay, there you go. 1 to each ship, but everybody use up the momentum. Handle it.
All right, hold on. So first, I need Lieutenant Carr to roll me 7 challenge dice,
Ooh, I can do that.
and make sure you hit enter before you roll. Otherwise, it's not going to work properly.
Yeah, and
Quick-
remember, for every effect rolled, I get an additional work done. So there's
How do I
one.
make people's pictures smaller and roll D20? Because it's taking half the screen.
Go into settings on the right hand side of the bar at the top. Scroll down to chat avatars.
Just put them just names only.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm doing right now. Like normally I have it on small, but names only right now because there's so much color.
All right, and you guys got, and so Lieutenant Carr got 5. So that is definitely a breakthrough. And you guys were engineering, correct?
Oh well, we have a resist of 1, so it's still probably 4.
Oh, it still is 4. Yep.
Unless you spend a momentum.
Oh, which now because we have. Okay, now in this case, this is a moment where we're not going to move one of the momentum to one of the 2 ships because we need the breakthrough. So we're going to spend 1 momentum and be nice since this was MGen. We'll give the Kismet that extra momentum
Okay.
and keep the breakthrough.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Right, so that's 5 successes then.
Yes.
So let me get this to the. hold on. Let me get this to the right people.
So just so the numbers on the screen are right, I think movement and propulsion's work track should be down to 5 and engineering should be down to 3.
Oh, that's what I should. Okay, so let me go ahead and put. I'm going to start with movement and propulsion. You said it's at what now? So
5.
done.
5.
Done. 5. Okay, there's that one.
Okay.
All right, and then let's go back over to tactical. How much did they finish?
We did not succeed on our rolls, so we
Okay,
didn't do any.
so still 0. Okay,
Chief Katork.
and then we've done 5.
And I need Ensign Lyrica. There we are.
And we've only done 3 of ours, not 5.
That's why
No.
you have 5, so it should be work track 5.
Yeah, you can put on movement and propulsion, put 3 for done.
Edward,
Yep.
was this for engineering? Because I'm in movement and propulsion.
No, you're in the right place. Your work's in the right place.
Who asked me that?
Me. I mean, what did you just roll on?
Hold on.
That was
Maybe I
engineering.
did send
Okay,
it to
I'm
the wrong
not in
person.
engineering. I'm in movement and propulsion.
All right, hold on. Maybe I sent it to the wrong person. Who the hell's an engineer?
Let's see, Commander Drell, Care, and the picture for Worf. I can't remember the name. Oh my God.
All right.
Truck.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not reading what
okay,
you
okay,
sent me.
hold on,
Just tell
hold
me
on.
when it's deleted.
Who did I not send information to from the engineering channel?
Me. If it's in roll 20.
Who says who's me?
Commander, Lieutenant Commander Care.
Okay,
Kerr. Sorry, Kerr. For now.
there we go.
We'll discuss that later.
All right. Then we got the science people. I got 1 momentum.
Now, where are you putting this information at?
I'm just sending it to you direct message on Discord.
Oh, okay. That's where I'm not seeing it. Gotcha.
That's where I send all the information like that, so you guys can kind of role play the information.
I think because it said Sarah, I didn't think it was you.
Yeah, that's me. I don't want to change my base name.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
But-
Just, now I'm connected.
All right, so we got the sciences. So who wants to do the main role here?
Okay.
Wait, before we do that, I want to do something. There is a use for crew support that I would like to leverage. You can leverage a crew support to create a crew member that acts purely as an advantage.
Okay.
And knowing what she knows, I would like to bring in Cecile to do that.
All right.
Of
Using
course
what
you
she
would.
knows, geology.
Talk to the Bajoran prophecies.
So she'll simply function as an advantage to bring the difficulty down to 4.
Okay. Cool.
And I bring the Kismet's crew support down to 4.
That works for me. So everyone's difficulty is now 4.
Okay, so I'm gonna put parentheses 4 to show that you guys manipulated it. Oop. There we go. Okay.
So that means she's there.
But she doesn't get the roll, right? It was just for the
She doesn't get
advantage.
the role. She's acting purely as an advantage.
Cool.
Using her knowledge of geology and what she experienced on the planet.
Cool beans.
So I believe xenobiology could work as a focus because this is technically alien stuff.
So the question is, what are you guys actually trying to study here? And then, so let's start there, and then we can start working on the rest of it.
I'd like to see how I'd like to try and figure out, one, are the aliens and their ship made of the same material? Because they're both crystals, correct?
Oh, they are. We determined that.
So we need to ask ourselves, how do they interface?
Yeah, I want to.
And is there a way to interrupt that?
Yeah, what I want to. What I want to figure out is I want to figure out the nature of these energy beings. Because we've figured out that these are more or less beings of energy that are somehow able to affect crystal with piezoelectric energy, but we don't know the specifics.
it be sort of like I hate to use this word, it's not incredibly useful to us, but could it be sort of like a ghost possessing an object?
I don't see any candles around here, so.
In an incredibly roundabout sort of way. You know, back on Earth in the 20th century, they did used to attribute ghosts to electromagnetic phenomenon. So you're not totally off.
Right, these could be maybe it's some sort of way that the do we have any samples of the crystals actually? We could do some
We
some
do.
Yes,
we could
we
pr-
do
we
have
could probably do some
samples of
tests
ours.
with them, see how they interface and and what they're able to do with them.
Yeah, see if we can replicate the method of because and this is me actually knowing a little bit about science. When you apply electricity to crystals, you can deform them. That's piezoelectric. There's like an actual scientific principle behind that. So if we could find a way to induce the same sort of effect, we could potentially nullify it. How's that sound?
Would that kill them? And the other question is, if we do this, if we do something like that, would it count as a weapon of mass destruction?
I'd say it's a probably a last resort measure.
But right now, we need answers.
Right. We should just try to figure out what they're doing before we try to, kill them.
But we should know how, just in case.
So the question is, are you guys going to be focused on communication or disruption? I think.
I think we should be focused on just sort of general existence, like
Yeah.
how they come back in.
General understanding. Because
Understanding the mechanics of how they interface with the corporeal crystals.
yeah, because Harmon shrugs his shoulders and lets out a sigh and goes, "Because well, lack of understanding is what got us into this mess in the first place."
Okay, so you're looking to understand what these things are, right?
Yes.
Right.
Okay, cool.
And we just
So,
have fun technique.
so since you have the sample and you guys did bring that up, I will allow you guys that if you succeed in your task roll, I will allow you to get 1 bonus momentum that can be used for the work track.
Oh, for the work track. Nice.
And then it's going to be reason and insight plus science, right? Science, or plus science or medicine, difficulty 4 now.
My
I have a pretty good secondary skill. It's the where's it at? Testing a theory. So we have to get successful first, and then the next round I can roll after that with the bonus dice.
Ed, I would like to make a proposal to you for an alternate usage.
I will hear the alternate usage.
I would like to make a presence science roll to try to organize them.
I will allow the alternate role. Presence and science sounds good.
Because I also have the focus of team dynamics.
Yeah, I will allow the presence and science.
Great. And I do have a focus. I'm just assisting.
So who's going to make the main role?
I only have a 14 on it, so
I have a 15.
Science and reason?
Or medicine.
I have a 15 in both of those.
Yeah, so it's reason or insight using science or medicine, whichever is higher.
Okay. I have a 15 in reason and science. I could probably cook something up.
Wait, hang on. Let me see your sheet.
I used the character creator Modifius provided.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Your reason and science medicine, right. Okay. Yep, those are both the same. Oh, oh! I know what you should be the primary. You should be the primary person on this, Sullivan, and spend that momentum we have to use your cautious medicine.
That could work. Yeah,
Alright.
that could work really well. Okay, how do I use the dice roller for this thing?
You select the number of dice you're gonna roll next to the task roll.
So how many dice we need?
You're gonna roll 3.
And then just make sure the whatever attributes and disciplines you're using are highlighted.
Yep. And your xenobiology focus should come into play.
So select yes for focus used.
Okay,
And you might have to select yes twice to make sure it's lit up.
it's
What
lit
does
up.
Quick study do?
I'm trying to remember.
I just want to make sure we know before we, when attempting a task that will involve an. Okay, it's a medical thing. It's a medical thing that doesn't apply here. Is what it is.
Okay. Focus complication range, by the way, it's 1.
Yep.
Yay!
All right, 3 successes. Then I need 3 people assisting.
Oh wait, no. I'm sorry. I rolled off the wrong sheet. Can I try that again? Because I
Yep.
didn't roll off the correct.
Yeah, it's not even your right stuff.
Yeah.
That's pretty good reason medicine.
There we go.
Hey,
I mean, it was the same stats, but
And then I just need Lieutenant Kai to roll if they're on and not having trouble. You're rolling your presence or reason and science or medicine, whichever's higher.
and you're rolling to assist, so only
Yeah, so only 1 dice.
we already got a momentum.
Yes.
Is he there?
Who knows?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, she's there.
Yep. Okay. So that's so you got 2 momentum,
Let's split it.
and then I need Leah to roll 6 challenge dice.
Uh,
3. So far you got 3, and then you have 1 bonus momentum to be spent for the work track.
I probably shouldn't re-roll anything.
wait, no. Can you re-roll?
I am back. I apologize.
I think we can. I think we should spend that momentum to re-roll what we've got.
yeah, 'cause
Okay.
you re-roll the 3 that didn't come up.
Okay, so roll 3 dice then.
3 challenge dice?
Yep.
Mhm.
And somehow you get 4 results.
How?
Oh,
How?
because they didn't hit enter, so it still rolled 6. So
Oh,
yeah, so if you don't hit enter, it rolls what it last was.
Let's just
Okay.
keep that result.
Oh, that's still good.
That's still good though.
Yep. So I got you at 6 minus 1, so you at 5, so you get a breakthrough.
5
But
were
you
done.
also get +1 for the bonus momentum that can only be
No,
used on.
that's what we.
No, you use that to re-roll the dice.
Oh, okay.
That's what we did.
I
Right.
thought you used the other momentum for that.
Wait,
Nope.
what is the what's the magnitude on these tasks?
3.
Okay.
So am I correct? The work done for science was 5 at this time to get
Uh,
a breakthrough.
Yes.
Good, good.
So-
Okay.
All right. So I gotta
Sorry, I was
send this
waiting for a
to Captain Grennan.
Well, no, send it to the doctor because the doctor is the primary actor here.
I was just gonna send it to everybody so you could all kind of look at it as I go back to the group.
Yeah, assume the doctor has it, but everybody as players should get it.
Right.
Otherwise it's
Everyone that's in the task is getting it. Who else do I gotta give it to? This person.
So it's literally what we thought.
Sterel. I only have to give this to 4 people, right? Boom. Everyone in science get it?
Yep.
Should we pivot to something else?
All right. We'll head back to the con. So if there's anything you want to role play with that information, if not, you can try again.
Okay, so
Back to the con. So movement and propulsion.
Yep.
Wait, who has a breakthrough?
2 people, both engineering and science.
Yeah. Technically, I gave it to the propulsion too because I forgot about the resistance. So you could go ahead and give them a breakthrough as well because I messed that up.
So
All right.
all of us should go down in difficulty.
Right, except for the tactical. And there are 3 more task rolls for each to try to get the rest of the information.
Wow, that's pretty good so far.
Ed,
Alright,
can I
so-
ask you a question about what we learned from the Klingons?
Sure. What did you learn from the Klingons?
What I want to know is if they use their cloaking systems against the crystal entities, and was it effective?
If you're asking if they were able to detect the cloak, the answer is they were not.
Okay, so how I want to do this with Michelson is I think that even though the crystalline entities are moved by energy, I don't think they actually have sensors, so they are flying through just sight. So they are looking for us.
If your request is to put you guys into cloaked ships, the answer is no.
No, that's not the request. I'm just trying to, I'm just trying to confirm with this possible role is that they can't actually sense us. They don't have actual sensors. They are just seeing us through what they can see in the 360 view. That's why the cloaks and the nebula, they couldn't see anyone.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
So yeah, by all means, role play that because I think you have a good guess as any.
Oh, that is clever.
Well, that makes sense because they didn't see us.
Now remember, it's just the people that are working on the propulsion. So, yes.
So
nobody else is on the right track.
Nobody
else is totally wrong.
So there'll be time to talk about all of this.
So
because I'm gonna have something for everybody later, but so for right now, the people that are working on the con and the propulsion movement heard that.
So Michelson, we already know it's the energy inside of the crystal which is causing them to move. But from what we know from what the Klingons experience with they can't be seen through the cloak, and your experience in the nebula, they don't seem to be able to actually sense us or scan us. So that's where I think we might have an advantage. Do you think that could be something we could use here?
I mean, we'd have to find some way to basically disrupt their line of sight with us, but
well, it's
if
better
we
than
can
nothing.
do that, it's possible. Yeah. So what I'm thinking, Ed, is trying to find a blind spot where they can't see. Not a weak point, but a blind spot that we might be able to fly into and gain a tactical advantage.
Well, we could technically do that for our next 2 rolls.
Yeah.
So if just let's say I'll do this one and you can do the next one.
Sure, go on ahead.
Ed, would it be possible for me to use either control or daring instead of reason? Considering I'm literally thinking of this from a helmsman's standpoint of how they're able to see us.
I could let you use control. I don't see daring right now.
Okay, that's perfect. I'm gonna use a momentum.
And then you guys are looking to try to find a blind spot, right?
No, we'll do.
Yes.
Or
Well, basically.
yeah.
Okay, go ahead and roll for it.
And I think we need one from Liaka, but he's gone.
Right. I'll
I
go
can
ahead
pull
and
up his
just
sheet real quick.
yeah, just go ahead and roll for him.
It's got reason con, assist, focus here.
Okay, since I'm fixing the box, I have 2 questions. I heard earlier that everybody except for one group had their difficulty lowered. Does this include propulsion? Is it difficulty a 3, not a 4?
Right.
So you guys have a momentum.
Yeah, every time a breakthrough is made, the difficulty goes down.
Good, good. Okay, there's that. Difficulty 3. Okay.
But
So far you banked 1, and we just need Lyrica's roll to see if they get anything else.
Right. I'm just checking to see if he has a focus here. Would electroplasma power systems work?
That's
I
fine
don't
with
think
me.
so.
That's fine. It's fine with me. Anything that's close to potentially helpful, I'll let use.
Nah. won't
So
17.
you guys get 1
One over.
momentum. Go ahead and roll. Lieutenant Penn, roll 6 challenge dice.
Can I spend the momentum to roll 3 challenge
To
dice?
re-roll the 3.
I think everyone's saying yay to that.
Yay. That is enough for 2
That
breakthroughs.
is
4,
6.
5, 6. So yes, that will be 2
Resistance.
breakthroughs. Yeah, so it'll be 5, and you definitely have at least 5 work. So you actually got 2 breakthroughs out of that. So you are going to get all the information that is possible. In answer to your blind spot question, I can just tell you no. However, I do have other information for you guys that you get as trying to find it. You guys get
Trying to find it, we managed to somehow unlock
right,
other information.
right.
So does this mean that the 2 of them are going to be freed up at some point soon?
Was there anyone else that needed information? And the answer to your question is yes.
Hell yeah.
So at the start of their of what would be their next turn is where I will allow them to move. So we'll go through everybody else in this round. On the start of their turn, since they don't have anything else, they can branch out and help elsewhere.
Got it. 'cause it's completed in 2 rather than 3.
Right. So
No, 2 rather than 4.
Right. Sorry.
so we'll go back to the tactical is what I have next.
Yeah. Oh, which means actually you guys got a total of 3 breakthroughs by the time it's done. 1 for the first one, and then 2 more
Right.
from the 6, right? Yeah. Okay. I'm just trying to make sure the box kind of reflects. That's all.
And
great.
and hold on really quick. I do have an idea. I'm going to open up the command lounge to everybody. So if you guys wanted to jump over and talk with your counterparts as we're doing this roll.
So that people can discuss things.
Right. So
Right,
so
that
like
makes
so like if you guys wanted to talk about what the information, you guys can go ahead and jump to like the command office.
He just jumped to the command officer's lounge.
Yeah, you guys can jump to the command officer's lounge to talk about anything you need.
Yeah.
I haven't got that.
Not
I don't
visible.
have that either. Yeah, just the engine. Still not. Yeah.
It would help if I set it to view, connect, and speak, wouldn't it?
There it is. Okay, so now are you moving with us there?
No.
No, because I'm going to be running the rest of the rolls. So if you guys get information, you guys can type like, "Hey, let's go to command lounge and talk about," kind of come up with an idea.
Oh, so movement and promotion. Okay, so since movement promotion are done, they can go there because TAC is next. Or sorry.
Right. So
because
like
TAC is next, right?
Right. So yeah, they can go and try to talk about the information I gave them, because at the end of this, we're going to bring everybody together and try to figure out how to use it.
Gotcha.
That's
So
Got it.
everyone's going to bring their pieces together and have one nice big conference. Is the idea.
Oh, that's cool.
So tactical.
Right. All right.
Uh,
So
Alrighty, pinned. I'm here.
Yeah, so from what I was thinking about with me initial thought is technically if they can't see a cloaked ship or if they can't see you in the nebula, then they have no scanners, so they literally have to see us through the line of sight. So it's technically a tactical advantage as well.
Yeah, you're right. They have to see us through line of sight, and that's a little bit different. That's why I was trying to find a blind spot, or at least threw that out there.
I mean, I'll
thinking-
confirm it with Ed again, just like my part of it. But yeah, I don't think they have a blind spot because they would have 360 X, Y, and Z vision.
Yeah, I agree with him. It makes sense. It looks like with all the information that we've got, I mean, they hardly use any energy moving. Good grief, this is crazy. Moving. They hardly use any energy.
Yeah, so they can just keep going and going and going. So even like just power drain stuff is not going to do anything to them.
Oh, no, it's not. We literally... If we can find their power source, like you and me head over to engineering and say, hey, we ran into this stuff. If you can find the power source, we can seriously cripple them and help them finding the power source. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like that be where we go.
I mean, I was possibly going to go to tactical if you wanted to go to engineering, so then we could both kind of. Give it to
Yeah,
two different
we
spaces.
split with the information that we've got. Give it to the two different groups.
Yeah, because I could give them more of a tactical standpoint of what we've got, and you could give a more engineering. Yeah.
Because what's your security rating?
4.
Mine's a 2. So yeah, my engineering's a 3. So yeah, you'd go to tactical. I'd go to engineering.
And that way we can at least give him more possibilities to go with.
Yeah, and then, good grief. Basically, oh man.
And in all fairness, it looks like tactical needs as much help as it can bloody get.
Oh yeah, I'd agree with you there. What I'm gonna have to do is send the information that we got via Roll20 or Discord to people in engineering.
That's if Ed's okay with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to see if he's okay with that. But that'll only come into play when our turn comes back up.
So if you want to, we could go back into the normal chat now, because we have figured out what we need to do next.
Yeah. You're going to tactical, and we can role play this, when it comes to us. We can just role play it like we turn to each other and say, we need this type of information, and then one of us say, I'm going to tactical. Okay, I'm going to engineering.
Sounds good for me.
All right. Popping into 10 forward.
Yep, I will.
Okay. Let's see. I'm not going to use it on this roll for the 2 successes. I'm going to wait and see
Okay.
about challenge die.
Okay. So you're gonna roll straight up the 4 difficulty.
Right. And I'm
Oh,
going
you
to
can
spend
use-
1 momentum to roll 3 Challenge die. I mean, not challenge die. 3 on my task roll. Wow.
I was gonna say that seems pretty pricey.
Nice.
Ooh.
Okay, let's see how much momentum we get now.
I did something.
All right, you guys bank 1 momentum. Captain Varro, go ahead and roll 7.
I just got a
Sounds
promotion.
Well, hey, that's cool. Like the way that would work is like you could see like Starix and Prax like getting to see the tactical acumen of the Kismet.
Yeah. You're like, why is this guy a commander?
How much momentum does the Kismet have now?
We have 2.
2, and then how much does the Imogen?
1.
I got him with 1 right now.
So, yeah,
Okay,
give
so that's
them-
4.
You can
Yep.
use that to reroll 3 of them.
Yeah. So let's proc that determination now and re-roll the 3
Okay,
because that's one of the uses for it.
roll 3, please.
Okay, to enter. Almost forgot to do that. Okay,
Ah,
4, 5, 6. So I got you at 7, 6 actually.
6, correct.
6.
you could spend 2 momentum and get another breakthrough.
Ooh, that's tempting.
Why not?
Yeah, let's do it.
Because yeah, you guys are putting a lot into this one go.
We've got
and-
no momentum now, but another breakthrough.
All right, so you got 2 breakthroughs out of 3.
Mhm.
2. Okay. So you guys got now. Right now the work is 5 with 2.
The work is 6.
Oh, 6. Okay.
No, wait.
Yeah,
the work
you-
is. No,
you
the
and
work's not
Evan
6.
got
We
to
spent the 2
show the
momentum.
Fuck off.
So it's 7?
Yeah.
It's 7, yeah, because you guys got the 2 extra breakthrough. Okay, yeah.
Who did I
Did you
send
get-
that to?
You sent it to me.
Okay. Then I gotta give to Captain Starix, and I have to give it to Evans,
That's fucking scary.
and that's everybody, right?
Nice.
So did you get it to Prax?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, I think that's everybody. It should be Captain Starks, both commanders, Lieutenant Evans, right?
Correct.
Everyone got it? Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There is one more breakthrough, so one more piece of information you guys can get out of that. But I think that's a pretty good start for you guys.
Yeah, I think we should hop over into Command Lounge and talk this over.
And then we will jump to the engineering.
Don't forget, your difficulty goes down to 2 now. So,
Oh yeah, there's
2 breakthroughs. So you're right. So 2 there.
I got him.
Oh, I'm just changing my box information. There we go.
Who got in engineering?
All right, so
Okay.
engineering got 1 breakthrough, right? So there's still 2 left to get, if I'm not mistaken.
oh, science should be at 3 now. Because we also got a breakthrough.
Who's in engineering? I'm fucking confused.
I'm in engineering.
That helps tremendously because I don't know who that voice belongs to.
Oh, sorry. I belong to Chief Petty Officer Katork.
Yeah,
Anything else?
Chief Katork's in there. Ensign Lyrica would be, but he had to drop because of an emergency. And then whoever the Tellarite is.
Me.
Yeah,
Commander
and then
Kerr.
And then there's me, the Trill. KK. So,
We just found out that their energy is basically goes through each crystal, and by that
Well-
process connects them all together.
so I've got something
disrupt
that
that.
I've got something that might help, but it might totally be blatantly fucking not helpful. Is shipboard power systems. It's shipboard
Yeah.
power systems.
No, that's perfect. Let's go for that next, because if we break the power, that might let the crystals fall apart by the understanding of what I
Binds them.
read. And
I also have bold science, but I am not entirely sure if that would be very helpful here. Probably not. Because we're engineering.
I think the power systems one is excellent.
Okay.
But that means okay. But if you're using the focus, you're heading the roll. Then is that how that works?
I have no idea. I'm just giving you that option.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, I'm just asking questions too. Just wondering.
Well, what would we roll off of anyway? If we did roll.
For their shipboard power,
Yeah.
GM.
What's that?
If we wish to figure out, now that we know that their whole ship is not only powered by but connected by the energy between the crystals, using the focus ship
okay.
propulsions that he has, yeah. What would the role be to figure that stuff out?
So it's just going to be the same role that I had you guys do last time,
Side-
except you can use that focus, and it's difficulty 3 this time.
So okay, so it would be insight and engineering is what we rolled last time, right?
Right.
Yeah, I think it could be reason or engineering also.
I have a 12 for either one. I would have a 12 for either one.
So so it's reason or insight, and your engineering.
I only have it the 12 in one of them. So actually, you lead it this time. Yeah, and I'll roll.
All right, so I'll have insight, engineering, okay, and then I click yes for the focus because I'm using one of my focuses, right?
Yep.
Okay, and then it's complication range. Does that change?
Nope. Complication range still 1.
Okay, and then task roll is
So far 2.
2 dice. Imogen has 1 momentum, but I
Uh,
don't think we want to spend
they-
it right now.
They all use their momentum to buy.
No, the Kismet did. That
They
was zero
both did. They used they used one of theirs to re-roll the dice, and then they used both momentum to get 2 more work. So you guys are out of momentum.
Oh, okay. When I asked earlier, somebody said 1, so good deal. That's good to know. All right, so zeroed out.
So hit focus, yes. Complication range 1 and task roll 2, and that's it. That's all I need to
Yep.
click. Just roll the dice, okay.
Yep.
And then I need to click 1. Let's see, metallurgy. That's not going to work. Transporting relic, Warfield dynamics. Does xenobiology still work in this? Or because of the crystals and we're talking about electricity? No.
Probably not.
Probably not. Okay, good deal.
I'm
We'll
poor,
switch that
that's
to
what I wanted.
no. One die. One die. And please.
Yeah, that's good. And then we just need Lyrica.
No, Liaka was with us in
Aren't they
movement.
gone?
Yeah,
Liaka
it looks
was
like I think I might have to roll for him.
no, Liaka was in movement and propulsion with us.
Oh, was he?
I thought that was somebody else with us then.
Who else is
Commander
in this
Drell.
one?
I'm in
Uh,
engineering.
Katrok.
Yeah, I didn't have
Oh,
it
there it
for
is.
my assist.
Okay.
Reason is this would just be a reason engineering, right? The
Uh,
Yep.
one.
Yep.
Just double checking. I'm always better remembering what to roll.
Do you have a focus?
Probably none that would help, unless they're Polaric Ion. Then no.
And
but we
you
still
guys
get-
got it. So, Lieutenant Commander, go ahead and roll me. Ooh, you do not have good engineering score. Go ahead and roll me 5 challenge dice.
okay, so when I hit challenge dice, I put 5, then hit enter, then roll it, right?
Yep.
What does that mean?
Yes, it's 3. So I got you guys at 7. Yeah, I got you at 7 work done. So
Oh,
you
yeah,
guys
'cause
need
resistance
1 more
one.
work track.
All right, so 7.
And then I think we'll move back to the sciences.
Okay, so we know it's based on electricity. We know that these are electric creatures.
Mhm.
How do we know they're not a hive mind? Or not even a hive mind, just one being able to sort of assert itself, like something that's really good at multitasking.
Here's how. Because there were multiple beings that spoke to me, and it seemed that that any given being could do things that another was unaware of. The little girl that spoke to us did so without the knowledge of her elders, and that is something that made her elders very mad.
Okay, so they're definitely individual beings.
Yes, they are.
And we can communicate with them, at least verbally.
Yes, they are capable of understanding us.
What if
I mean, my biggest I mean, if we could put out some sort of thing through subspace communications and they pick it up, we could probably avoid a fight in the first place, but we still have to answer the whole problem that the reason we're in this situation in the first place, you know?
Agreed. I'd rather put this information towards a diplomatic resolution.
Do we have any do we have any way of how do I put this? Do we know if subspace communications works with them?
Evidence points to the contrary.
Well, actually, they never communicated with us over communications, did they?
In that case, that's going to be a yes or no situation.
Yeah, can we communicate with things?
Well,
I
all
hate
of
to say
my
this.
hails went
What?
unanswered.
It's the captain of the. It's the captain of the Imjin that caused this whole fracas, right?
No, me. It was me.
Hey, what's this all about? I'm
Insubordination.
cleaning up Harmon's mess.
And be careful, Stir will throw you out the airlock.
It's true, and you should.
You can distract Sturell with a little bit of rum.
Right under a bus. That was.
I hate to say this, but even if we do manage to communicate with them, they're probably going to want some form of justice.
We'll give them
hey,
I second that plan.
being the ship is crystal, the crystal ship itself, or weaponry or thing, like their shields to block what we are doing.
What do you mean?
Crystal can absorb as well as absorbing what energy is happens to.
Huh?
You're cutting out a lot.
Yeah.
If I may guess, I think what they mean is that we could potentially use just the natural effects of the crystal of like focusing and what's the word? There's like focusing
Harmonics.
Yes, and to boost the type of our weaponry if possible.
Really wish that wasn't the direction we were going in with this.
If
But if that's the only direction you can see.
Oh, that's just kind of how our crew is. We're tactical first, obviously. We're a tactical ship. That's how we think.
well, I was just trying to what's her? See if I can
Well,
figure out what the medical officer was saying.
I still say that even if they won't talk to us, being able to understand their communications is key.
They just said being a crystal absorbs as well as dispels. That's
Yeah.
what they were saying in Discord.
So I say we go and try to understand their method of communication among one another.
So, and within that, like how, like further along the research of how, maybe while we're doing that, we can learn how exactly they're connected to each other.
Yeah, how these beings actually exist. The exact nature of these beings, and that'll probably help us figure out how they communicate.
Yeah, I think we can go for that.
Now you guys are on the right track.
That's the type that also be using this power to power everything.
So yeah, so the role is still going to be reason or insight with science or medicine, whatever the hell your difficulty is now. I think it's 3, and you guys have 3 work remaining. So if you get above 5, you get both breakthroughs.
Yep.
You want me to roll it still?
I don't know. Does anyone have higher than 15 on their reason, insight, science, medicine?
Well, I have 14, but I also have free dice this round.
Oh, why?
Testing a theory, talent.
Oh, yeah. I'd do that.
All right. This has reason and science still.
Mhm.
Yep.
Nice.
All
Okay.
right.
And then I just need all the assists.
Mm-hmm. Making sure I got this right.
Okay,
Oh,
how do I
wow.
only roll 1 die?
Nice.
You just select one on the dice roller.
Oh, cool.
Oh. Wait, Starell, you should have been able to roll 1 more die.
Oh yeah, that's right, huh? What was I thinking?
Yeah, just roll one more, Sterl.
Oh, wow.
And then we just need Lieutenant Kai to roll their assist. Oh dear God! How about 5 momentum out of that roll?
We figured out all the things.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So
So
we might have to
that's
spend some of that to do stuff, though.
oh so roll your work. So this is going to be Sterel. Go ahead and roll me 6 challenge dice.
Okay.
5. So you guys are at 4 right now.
So yeah, I'd spend a momentum, and that'll get us the last breakthrough we need.
Yep. So now you guys officially achieved your track.
And we have 4 momentum to split between the 2 ships.
Exactly.
So both ships are now at 2 momentum.
Cool. All right. Copy that.
Give us that sweet, sweet intel.
Paste. There's 1. Who the hell do I have to give this to? I have to give it to you. Let me make sure there should be 2 bullet points in that. So if there's not, I messed it up, but I think that's right. 3. I only have to give this to 4 people, right?
Yeah, that's what we did last time.
Perfect. So all that's left is the tactical officers, and this is the 3rd round, right?
Out of 4?
Yes.
Oh, and furthermore, at this point, the movement and propulsion group can go and help.
Oh, yes.
So they
That
are
is
free.
that is correct.
They are free to help whoever they are. Science team, I'd go over to the command section so we can discuss this information we've been given.
Okay, where command?
Command officers lounge.
So Varro's got our plan here.
Okay.
So, Michelson, I don't think we're getting much more out of this. Shall we split up to the other groups?
Yeah. Where are you thinking of going?
There's only the tactical track left.
I thought
there's
also
only the tax-
engineering.
I thought
Engineering is done as well.
This
engineering
chart's
is
not
done.
entirely
One more
accurate.
track.
Okay.
You said engineering has one more work track.
Did I?
Yeah.
Yeah, one work left and one
Then
break
I
left.
then I lied.
Okay.
You fucking whore.
Oh, so we can't. Oh, yeah, I'm confused now because I thought we were trying to get more information off the first bullet point you gave us because that was it.
No, there's 3 bullet points in total, and then you have to. So every breakthrough you guys get is giving you one piece of the information.
Right. So engineering has two more to get.
Okay, cool. Yeah, if I only gave you one, then yes, you are correct.
Okay.
But-
There we go. Thank you.
So, I can go to tactical if you want to go engineering.
Sure, let's go help them out.
All right,
I mean,
tactical.
don't smile or nothing coming in a door.
No. He doesn't smile. He just like he walks out of the movement and propulsion area, walks past the science area, and they're like all gathered around the info that they've gathered, and he
Right, they're like
mentally surmises that they're done as well. Then just walks and is like engineering. Walks in and sees you guys are still working. And is like okay.
So it looks like you guys over here need some help.
Where are you?
I'm in tactical now.
Okay. That'd be appreciated, Lieutenant. We've got some of the work done. If you finish with yours, your help will be appreciated.
We found out that the crystalline structures that are mainly are using just the energy inside as their main source of propulsion and power, and that they can see 360 degrees X, Y, and Z axis. They have no blind spots.
That corroborates our findings that their weapon systems are drawing on a near limitless power supply, but not utilizing it to a full extent.
Plus, we had a theory, but we can't fully guarantee it.
Varro just shoots you the eyebrow.
So it seems that they, unless they can physically see us, they can't. So when
No
the,
sensor readings.
so when the Imjin was hiding in the nebula, they couldn't find them, and when the Klingons were cloaked, they couldn't see them.
Interesting. Do you have any estimates on ranges for this, Lieutenant?
Range, no, but it has to be a line of sight.
It's good to know.
Is there any cover around us, like an asteroid field or anything like that?
Not in system, no.
All right.
Okay. So I think we should delve into that power supply then.
All right.
Well, engineering was dealing with that for a little bit.
Oh.
I think. I'm not entirely sure.
Okay.
Yes.
So we're going to be trying to determine the specifics of this type of energy so that we can isolate its effects and origin more easily. Does that make sense, Ed?
It makes sense. But I think you're kind of stepping on the science people's toes, so you probably won't get anything out of it.
Would it make more sense to find out what's more effective against the actual crystal shell?
I think that's kind of what engineering's on, correct? Stepped out for a bit.
So remember, you guys are kind of trying to focus on the weapons and what
Right.
type of shielding it has.
My
Right,
thinking
didn't
on
we-
that was if we were able to analyze the energy coming out of their weapons, we'd be able to learn how to counteract it more easily.
Yeah, because engineering's working on the energy is going in between the crystals and keeping all of that together. So we're looking on disrupting that. If we disrupt it so the crystals can't stay together, they just fall apart.
Okay, so maybe we should focus on the way in which they are outputting energy. If that phrasing is better.
Like
Yeah,
how their
yeah, let-
weapons fire?
Sorry, what, Evans?
Like, are you asking how their weapons fire?
I
Essentially?
think so. I'm trying to be a little bit broader than that, but that's the gist.
Okay.
The manner in which their weapons are firing, and the substance of those weapons.
I really
Alright.
hope I'm right. That would be.
I think you guys are close enough that you can go ahead and give this.
Okay. Did we get any momentum, or are we still at 0?
We
We
have
have
two.
Yeah. Each ship has 2,
Okay. Good to know.
and remember, you guys are down to difficulty 2.
Mm-hmm. I am again going to spend 1 momentum here to roll that 3rd die.
Okay.
And which ship is that? Kismet or
Kismet.
Imjin?
Kismet.
Kismet.
Okay.
Let's see. All right. Here we go. Fingers crossed.
This
Three.
Okay.
So we get
Well,
that momentum
alrighty
back.
then.
Imogen gets 1.
So I
Imjin
got
gets
you
2,
guys
we get 2.
banking 1, 2. Rex pen.
Should be 5.
So yeah, I got you guys banking 5 momentum. We could split that up later. Commander Varro, go ahead and roll me 7 challenge
5.
dice, please.
I'll do it that way then.
Yeah, because you might have to spend some of that momentum to.
Yeah.
That's back to 2, and that's back to 1.
That's 4. We've done 7. So that's enough, right?
Should be. I've given you 2 points already, right? 2
Yeah.
bullet points.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this will do it. So I just got to give you the last bit of information.
So it's good news.
Captain.
We'll bank 2 and the Kismet can bank 3 since it's Varro that did it.
Cool. So there's us at 4 and you at.
Nice.
Who did I just give that to? Prax. Varro.
So you guys ought to go into the command lounge. and discuss.
Evans. And I'll give the final one to Pend. All right, that should be all 5 of you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. So the question is, how do we make use of that?
Well, would you like to know what I've got from the con rolls?
Sure.
So the first part of it is the energy present in the crystal seems to be responsible for the movement of the crystal ships through space. Second is it is still unclear exactly how the energy interacts with the crystal, even start to explain how the energy can cause crystal to move, but hardly any energy is used in this process. And the third one is you estimate from your previous engagements that the crystal ships seem to have the same sublight and warp speeds as standard Federation ships. However, due to the seemingly efficient energy interaction, they can maintain speeds for longer and push their equivalent of an engine for longer, making them run for an impossible amount of time.
We
Cool.
have-
So the basis here is that they have way more power than us, but they're somehow not utilizing it.
Yeah, so basically, if we try that energy drain shit through the combat stuff, it's going to be pointless.
Right.
Yeah, we figured out that their weapons have access to limitless amounts of energy, but they're only using a small fraction of it, and we figured out that the weapons and the shield use the same energy, but the shields are not actually shields, they're just moving crystal from one part of the ship to the other to repair.
I just
We
wonder if there's a,
suggest.
I just wonder if there was like a time limit, like a certain time, like timing wise. So like you fire on one section of the ship, you damage it. Are they able to then go around and repair another side that gets damaged simultaneously, quick enough, or?
Right. Is there a way to overwhelm their
Yeah,
ability to
essentially.
self-repair? And when they're doing that, they can't fire. We know that.
So
And I
Although
would
that's
assume if
already
we're
evident
both firing on it, we could overpower it.
So really, if what we're looking for, if it comes down to combat, is one, how effective the maneuvering of the crystal is, or two, is there anything more effective to disrupt the energy transfer?
Right. Which is why I was using torpedoes against them, because they deal quite a bit of damage to hull, and these things apparently don't have shields. However, that does pour threat.
Well, at this stage, it's got over 30 threat.
Right.
Is there a cap to how much threat the GM can have?
Nope.
Nope.
Of
We could
course.
give the GM 100 threat, and yeah.
You could just spend it by the 10. Yeah, so not really sure where to go with this info, honestly.
Well, we've confirmed.
It's one of those.
We've confirmed that it's a single energy source in each ship, and comparative to what we have, it's a limitless amount of energy.
Mm-hmm.
So if,
Near limitless power.
yeah, so it's basically how the only thing that we can do is either one, disrupt them, or two, go through the crystal structure.
Right. Find out ways to get their power offline somehow. And they're dead.
Well, is the power localized in any one area to begin with?
No, it's
It
just
suggests-
the energy.
So the energy is evenly distributed throughout the ship. Is that what you're saying?
Or what it is, it's the energy inside, and the crystal structure is just a case. Everything inside of it is energy.
Okay, so there's no one thing we can target and maim their energy.
No, it's literally just a big crystal shell which is being moved, and everything's being powered by the energy inside the shell.
Right. Which doesn't honestly give us that much information.
No, we basically know that they're OP, and that's it.
Right. It's like the information we got is they're better than you.
I guess
So,
we'll just
looking
have to
over-
go up and see and wait to see what the other two crews got.
Yeah, so hopefully.
Right. Yeah, so let's hop back into 10 forward, I guess.
Alright.
Okay, so
One success, and then I believe there's still 3 more people that need to roll.
uh-huh.
2 success,
There it is.
4 success,
One extra
Go
momentum
Yarka.
there.
Making my crystal now.
and then I believe do we got one more, Chief?
Yeah, I haven't. Reason engineering.
So that's one floating momentum.
Yep.
2 floats.
2 floating momentum. So, Commander, go ahead and roll me 7 challenge dice.
7 enter and pew.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
That'll do it.
7. That'll do it. So you guys can figure out where that momentum goes, and I got to send you guys the rest of the info.
Well, I
So-
get 1 for each effect, so that's even more.
So let's
Yeah.
just let's
Yeah,
just
That's like
split it.
that's like 12.
Yeah, you guys killed it, so no worries there.
Yeah, 10
All right, now who do I got to give this to? Lieutenant Kerr.
You have to give it to.
I got to give it to the chief.
Lieutenant Commander.
And
Team Rideau.
there we go. Bam. And I guess I could give it to the captain as well, since you kind of technically assisted.
And Michelson.
Michelson. Oh yeah. I forgot about Michelson. Sorry. I
And we're
forgot
getting
you
the
were there.
last 2 bullets, not just 1, right?
Right. So it should be 2. If it's not, let me know.
I mean, I kind of already knew that.
I raised my hand for the because I don't have the 3rd bullet.
Yeah, you should have 1 from earlier and then 2.
Gotcha. I only got 2, not 3.
Yeah, I only have 2 as well.
Let me double check. Because remember that other one was an earlier.
Oh, there's 2 bullets in the.
Right. There should be 2 in this one, and then you guys had 1 from.
Yeah, I only got 1 bullet. I have the 1 from earlier and 1 from the message now.
Well, I noticed now that the one from before the earlier one has 2 bullets, but this one's not paragraphed. Or there's a. How do I want to say it?
So the bullet point is going to be in the text. So it's not going to be perfect bullet points because of how I sent it.
I see.
So as long as there's 2 dots in there, that's 2 bits of information.
Okay, then we got 2 dots earlier, and now we're getting the the third one. Okay, now I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like I'm looking at your chat. So in the one I gave you earlier, I believe the timestamp is 6:28. That's 1 bit of information. And then that one I just gave you is 2 bits of information.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're good.
But yeah, so you guys got it. And then, so that's all the rolling. So now you guys can basically go to the conference room that's right off of the science labs to try to put this all together.
Yep. Quick question: how much time do we have left?
I'm not worried about time for you guys talking. If you're worried about real time, I'm good.
No. The reason I am asking is because we were told that we had a few hours left, and for the purposes of this task, we were given 4 tries to
Right.
work. I
So
think we got it done in 3.
the timed part is going to be in the next scene. So you guys are good to do your talking.
Well, I'm wondering if hang on. Like I'm wondering if the fact that we got done with 1 round to spare is going to translate into anything.
No.
Nope. Okay. It just means that we got everything done handily.
Right.
Okay.
And you guys got your huge amounts of momentum, so
That's
There
good.
shouldn't be 4. in
Kismet has 4, the Imjin has 3, and there's 2
Yeah, we split it 1 each way.
So
Kismet 5, Imjin 4.
yeah,
Okay.
but next scene that's probably going to go down by 1 each.
all right.
So
So
it is a new scene then.
not yet,
Not-
but
okay,
it,
that's what I
but
was-
it will be. So you could probably just go ahead and mark that down so you already do it and don't forget. But you guys are in the conference room, and then after the conference is when we'll jump to the next scene.
Okay.
So yeah, so you all are kind of sitting around a huge giant table with everyone kind of seated at a part. The captains are at either ends. To their immediate right are the commanders, and then everyone else is kind of sitting all throughout the tables. And go.
Each crystal is its own battery.
Not exactly.
Well, don't get like technical with my words specifically, but all I mean is each crystal has its own power all throughout the thing, and no matter what, when it fires, it doesn't go up, doesn't go down, doesn't drop. Each crystal is its own thing, and unless we put some type of separation between each crystal so that the crystals cannot communicate in any way, they have this equal power all the time, constant.
That's gonna be a little more difficult than it sounds. You see,
Oh, absolutely.
well, hear me out. The science team has determined something.
Oh, when I'm talking, I'm not saying that's a sufficient. I'm just putting my information out there. So that's why I'm weirded out by you, because you're acting as if I'm like saying what we got to do when I'm like, no, I'm just putting out the information.
He's role playing, man. Just go with it.
He's
just go with it, man.
I have some information that will clarify the information you have given me, but it does make things a whole heck of a lot more complicated. And the doctor turns to what's her name? Sullivan?
Yes, the conclusion that we've drawn is that these are not ships. These are individual creatures. We've noticed that, and as you know, these are all that are like in character more frequent after we analyze some frequencies in the band, and comparing them to the different ships. Upper frequency bands seem to be unique between them. And each ship seems to only have this unique band of energy. This energy band is what's responsible for controlling all the functions on the ship, and would suggest almost a type of consciousness similar to what was seen with the individual crystal creatures on the planet's surface.
So you see, it's not just a simple matter of disrupting the energy signature inside of the inside of each ship. If we tried to do something like that, that would kill them.
We will need to leave all options on the table.
Captain, from what we've been able to determine, it seems like the energy that each of these, you say, individual creatures are able to draw. The only thing that seems to be limiting them is utilization of the power. They're not, by any means, utilizing the full extent of their ability. It seems constrained by the technology they've adopted in some way.
I wouldn't even call it the technology that they've adopted. It's their own physiological limitations.
So are you suggesting if they took over the forms of, say, a Borg cube, they'd still have comparable power to our ships?
Yes, exactly. Even if they attempted to replicate the size and structure of a Borg cube, it's my understanding that they would be no more or less powerful.
It's interesting. From our conclusion, they seem to... We can't find a reason that they're not drawing on their power, unless it is in some way a life force that they're unable to part with.
Precisely.
So what you're saying is that when they attack us or do things, if they go too much, if they draw too much of that power, they can die?
Perhaps. Or perhaps they're holding back for some other reason.
It might not even be so much if they use too much power, they die. It could just simply be a matter of tiring themselves out.
Regardless, we know they have power that they have not tapped into, something that far surpasses our own capabilities.
Right, but if all these crystals are okay, if each individual crystal is its own entity, and they're coming together to make these ships, somehow
that's not it.
The
Okay,
ships
that's
are
what I'm
entities.
getting.
Each individual ship is an individual entity.
Yes.
We're not. Think of them less as ships and more just really big creatures.
I hesitate to bring it up. Think crystalline entity. One single being.
Of course, it's not nearly comparable to that level of power, but
Like, Cody?
Goodness.
Yeah, and like remember when or at least for the engine, when we killed them, they splintered into, billions of pieces.
But did those billions of pieces do anything?
No.
No. Basically, you know how we learned in the science that they're all interconnected by the energy, so that points to the fact that it is one single entity and not thousands.
We're thinking about this through a lens of starships and crews too much, whereas we need to be thinking about this as a unique spaceborne life form.
Yes.
Well, that and each crystal itself has its power. Whether we talk about there's a whole bunch of crystals that make a life form, okay, great. And if all, like, say, okay, and I'm going to just hypothetically, if there's 7 crystals, they've come together as one entity, I'm telling you that each crystal, though, still has its own energy and it together. The energy is somehow what keeps the crystals together. If there's a way, I didn't say anything about like interrupt the inner crystal, what, but hypothetically, say there was this bubble that was put around an individual crystal. Its energy couldn't meld with the other one, and that crystal would float apart from the rest. That is what my research.
So are you suggesting that these energy signatures, these beings have the ability to what? Fuse?
Whether it be fused or just the energy keeps them together itself. But each one, like if one of these, so, and again, I'm just going to put a quote unquote ship, has 18 crystals, there's 18 crystals, each given the exact same amount of energy each to fire off whatever it's firing. So if these crystals are
idea.
suddenly separated, then each one is only able to put out. So again, let me say 18 crystals is enough to fire a phaser beam at one of our ships. Well, once those crystals are separated, one crystal could not put out the same amount as like you guys talked about earlier, which matches up. That one crystal itself, once it's separated, can't put enough energy to be that, again, phaser that we just talked about when they were connected.
You had a thought, Lieutenant Kia?
Yeah. How about this?
Can't
Coral.
hear you.
It protects them and fuels them. Digital thing is like a piece of it.
You're cutting out.
It. Oh no, I could hear it. It's like she said. It's like a coral.
Ah. Coral. Yeah, that's a fitting description, actually.
Almost a symbiotic relationship.
Wait, I thought there was only one life form in
I
the
don't
ship,
think
though.
I don't think the crystals are life forms.
Because wouldn't it be a little bit more analogous to the cells of a body? Each crystal is a different cell,
Which
but it
has
makes
its
up
own
one life
energy.
form.
Yeah.
And if it helps,
All right.
from what me and Michelson found out, it seems like it's just the energy inside of the crystals that are controlling propulsion, how they move, and everything. The crystal is quite literally just the shell.
Well, that would certainly explain how the entire planet is capable of going to warp.
Is it possible that these ships are acting in a sort of inverse fashion to our own? Energy on the interior and solids on the exterior acting as the means of interaction with the world around them. Much as our sensors and shields do. Energy fields that we manipulate, and they're manipulating fields of solid material.
Certainly possible.
Yay!
So what do we do with this?
We gotta
what I'm-
interrupt the energy between the crystals somehow.
My question is this, and I
I'm
don't
not saying
want-
shut it off, but interrupt. Sorry, go ahead.
I think it might be being suggested that if we're putting energy out, they're able to use that.
My question is, if we manage to interrupt it, and it may interrupt, not even, and it just sort of destroys it. How much are we able to destroy without committing genocide? I hate asking that question, but it's something we need to ask right now.
It's an applicable one.
Yeah, well,
There are
that's
steps
why.
we didn't take in the last war because of these same concerns.
Yes, and if each one has its own energy, then the idea of bubbling each individual crystal from each other.
The question is, if they're
Kinda would-
manipulating these crystals in the same way as we manipulate energy, where does one start and the other end? We can't seem to make that distinction with our scans.
Well, let's see. That's a part of my scan. It says, based on information scanned from the crystal ship, previous engagements, the crystal ships are held together from energy fluctuations running through each crystal.
All right.
And so this energy is integrated in every part of the ship.
Just a suggestion, if Ed wouldn't mind. Can we, each of us who've gotten this information, paste out our discovery threads so we can look at them?
Yeah.
That'll be fine with me.
All right. I'll do tactical.
I'll do science.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I've got
No, but I like how this interchange because you all have different information, and you're
I
all
like the
playing
interchange
that
too.
like it's so good.
It's a great interchange. I'm just worried about us getting somewhere, you know?
Well, Lieutenant Commander Kerr was actually on the right path. And then it becomes a moral question, which you
Yeah.
guys were there.
Because you're right, I don't want to kill anything either, but we can't let them continue to ravage or whatever the words we would use.
Oh no, you guys are exactly at the point I want.
Right.
The question should
Can I?
You forgot the evil laugh, Ed.
actually, speaking of information and stuff, do you mind if I go get some food?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could take a break. We've been playing for like.
Well, like,
yeah, can we all take 5 or 7 or something? Yeah, that's
We shouldn't.
Oh.
Because we only have so much time.
Yeah, I just want AFK
Gotcha.
to grab my food.
Yeah. If you need to go grab food, then go grab food. But
yeah, we're probably not going to stop for it.
Okay,
especially
I'll
with
be right
this
back.
people. If this were a 7-player game and like most of the people had to step away for a few minutes, yeah, we'd probably take a quick break. But
Okay, so back to the moral qualms here.
I'll interrupt here. Lieutenant Commander Kerr,
Yes.
it is not your prerogative to decide if it is to use the weapon. Me and Grinnin can decide that with
To
the
use
Admiral.
a weapon? I didn't say anything about that.
to use this information as a
To use-
weapon.
Yeah.
I didn't say that either. So I'm confused.
Oh well, never mind then. Maybe
Yeah,
that was
'cause-
towards the lieutenant. I know. I know the. Is it? What's the name?
And don't Jamie, don't get me as Jamie, don't get me. If I said so, I had, then yeah, I would have took that. But no, yeah,
No,
I
it's
don't-
Leah. I thought you were agreeing with her. That's why I was.
Yeah.
So the question is, can we disrupt their control of material in the same way that we could disrupt another ship's control of energy? And would doing so kill them?
kill them. Yeah. Or is there just a way to put like is my idea is not like I said, well, not idea like I would know how to do it yet. That's what roles would be for. But the idea of like I said, some type of bubble around each crystal itself to where we contain the energy per crystal and like I said, separate them out somehow. Get their ability to talk from crystal to crystal, share energy or whatever it is. Because like say if when they go to fire, it all has to coalesce on one side of the crystal. We don't see that energy go up and down.
Can we?
But somehow they share it, move it. You know what I mean? If we could stop that.
Can we somehow equip a torpedo with shielding and like shoot them with a shield, basically? Like shoot at them and have the shield encapsulate them.
Setting up a
You're talking
shield
about-
generator of that size.
Talking about making a containment field of some
So
sort.
basically, you want to section off parts of the quote-unquote ships.
From each other. Yeah.
So not individual crystals, but just like the cluster.
No, like if we find a ship, like we figure a way to put a shield around it.
I don't
So,
think
like-
we have the capability to do something on that scale. Not with the technology we have, not with the time we have.
How big are shield gens in this era?
Shield generators are
Yeah.
kind of dispersed throughout a ship.
Yeah.
Well, and from an engineering perspective, I would imagine if the energy is tight enough to where the crystals are locked together, our first thing would have to be to put out some pulse that like I want to just say like separates them for a second.
Something that maybe
Before
deionize
each
the bonds
one-
between them.
Yeah, and then bubble. So there's kind of like a two process thing that's got to happen.
Again, the question is here: if someone turned off our structural integrity fields, what would happen? Our ship would come
See,
apart.
It would come apart. Now, and that's then the question. We would lose life support, and then hence becomes the medical problem. But for
I'm
their,
back.
do they have anything that is in that is sentient other than the crystal thing itself? Or but you guys said each crystal is its own, not each crystal, but the crystals are an entity.
Yes.
So there's not really a guy in there somewhere.
Yeah, each massive structure, say the large facsimile of the Imjin that we fought around, because we did fight one, right?
Yeah, we did.
We fought a facsimile of you guys fought a facsimile of the Imjin.
Correct.
Imjin. The facsimile of the Imjin that my crew fought around the fought out in space there. That ship was one being.
And the crystals that make it up more analogous to cells in a body.
Yeah, and okay, so then the question becomes like, if we were to separate them, where does all that stored knowledge go? Is it separated between each one, and then they each one become their own identity, or you're right, does it just kill them? Because they're
Well,
not.
what happens if we
no
separate
longer-
all our cells?
Exactly.
Well,
I think I might have the answer to that question.
Captains, may I put something forward?
Of course. Speak, Lieutenant.
So, from what we've been saying about the energy readings and the crystal structures, it seems to go along with what me and Michelson came to, which is when they encountered the Klingon cloak and the nebula, that they couldn't see us. So, if we are considering them live entities and not ships, if anything that we do to them, such as disrupting them or anything, would be considered the same as firing on a living being. So we should consider them as when any action we do is firing on a living being or a living creature.
Wait a second.
So we can assume that their sight or their readings would be their sight, their 360 XYZ axis sight. Anything their outer shell is their skin.
Their movement, just walking.
Yes, the thing that propulses them is the energy inside. The energy is the life force. The crystalline structure is the skin. So we have to consider, to a degree, that each one is a living being, and if we fire on them in any way, shape, or form, any breach could be catastrophic.
Wait a second. Wait. You said that they couldn't detect a cloaked vessel or scan in the nebula.
Yes,
Or,
they need
they
a
lost
line
Imjin
of
in it.
sight.
I think we can use that.
They can see you in a nebula. They just have to be very, very close to you.
Yes, to
No.
actually see you, like visibly see you, not be able to scan like we can.
No, but I'm saying that opens a door. That opens a possibility for me. If we were to think about these ships as living beings and not a massive ship that can be destroyed, living beings like you and I, we can be incapacitated, but not killed. We can be killed, sure, but we can also be incapacitated.
Do we have the understanding of their biology, for lack of a better term, to make precise enough measurements to affect some sort of stun, though, is the question.
I mean, it's certainly possible. The ship's phaser systems could possibly be realigned to.
What about
produce-
dampeners?
Ah,
Considering their energy, what if we could use our weapons as dampeners or something to dampen the energy output, that could render them at least less effective or incapacitate them.
Yeah.
Perhaps if we routed energy of some opposing frequency, we might be able to disrupt their systems without destroying anything.
Because now that we're thinking of these things as living beings, our ship's phasers no longer become one-way killing machine. They become, and Harmon reaches into his pocket and he pulls out his Type 2 phaser and sets it on the table as safe as a hand phaser.
And a note
Tellarite,
on the
the
lieutenant's
Tellarite
point.
says on stun setting, of course.
The other Tellarite just stares at you.
What? He says, it is what it is.
And
I,
Sturl speaks up. He says, I just want to remind you all that this thing that's flying towards the station ate a quantum torpedo as if it was nothing. So if this turns south on us, we need to be prepared.
Well, it kind of then begs the question then. Okay, if they possibly can absorb it and put it out, and that's their thing, what now? Now, believe me, it goes on the line across the line in the sense of if their identity, then killing them. But instead of just taking the power from them.
Well, dispersing their power is. I can tell you right now, dispersing their power, that kills them. That's.
I'm more saying dispersing anything they throw out. Just I don't know. Yeah.
I'm back. What did I miss?
Two suggestions, Captain.
Yeah, we basically figured out that if these things are like massive living creatures, we figured that we might be able to calibrate our phasers to act on a stun setting, essentially. Like our ship phasers.
2 points, Captain.
Why don't we try making them sick?
In relation to Lieutenant Penn's research, it's supported by our own engagement with the facsimile of the Imjin. When we approached them at extreme long range, they seemed completely unaware of us, and it wasn't until I initiated a sharp engagement with a small warp jump that they responded to us.
Right.
Secondly, one thing we've overlooked is possible methods of communication with these entities. Now, if we're looking at them as life forms, an audible communication has been observed, a subspace one has not. Is there any way that we could manage to transmit an audible message to these larger life forms, perhaps through the use of our deflector dishes or phasers to make a resonance in their shells, causing an audio signal?
Liarka, could you pull off something like that with the deflector dish?
Most likely I should be able to. Though I would like to make one note. If they are moving themselves and making themselves their own shields, do you remember what happens when a ship or something like us extends a shield to someone else?
They don't have shields.
They don't have shields.
Okay, retcon that then, because I'm trying to catch up.
So
Yeah,
basically,
they move
they're
their crystal
energy
around.
inside of a shell of crystal, and those crystals act like a skin or a shield system to the energy that is the entity inside.
Okay, because when I was trying to think of, I remember Mud's women, and when the starship extended itself and made itself weaker in shields because it kept encompassing a large radius.
No, this would be this wouldn't be something messing with our own shields. This would be a simple pulse from the deflector dish.
Okay. Yeah, I
Essentially,
can do that.
Morse code in a way.
Yeah.
So how would we be sending this audible message through space?
Vibration.
I'd suggest using low-powered phasers to affect a resonance in their hulls, causing a vibration analogous to the one that we use through air to communicate. And then I look over at Captain Starix and I think, some of us.
Another idea I had was to use essentially use a torpedo without a warhead that would harmlessly latch onto one of their ships and vibrate that.
That might be a better solution.
Something of the kind.
If they allow it to stick to their ship.
I'm trying to speak for medical officer Asa. She's asking Captain, what is we use the disruptors to a field and use that too. I'm trying to understand what she said. I'm just relaying because we kind of skipped over her. Low frequency blast.
Yeah, that's sort of what we've been discussing.
Yeah, I think she means phasers.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of what we were discussing. Well, whether we use it through the phaser arrays or through the deflector dishes is
not the consequential thing.
Yeah, it's quite inconsequential whether we use the phasers or the deflector dish. Although I would like to, I'd rather use the deflector dish, if only because I would like to keep the option open to use our phasers as a stunning measure.
I'd agree with that, Captain.
Captains, if I may.
Yes, Ensign.
One other thing that you both should be aware of, mine and Lieutenant Penn's research also brought up the fact that their speed, due to the seemingly efficient energy interaction, it seems like they can maintain the same speeds that we have, but for much longer, and basically making it to the point where if we do try to run, we won't be able to get far enough fast enough.
That's some bloody
We have no intention of
base
leaving,
biosis.
That's Sports Tactical's finding as well. Energy drains on them wouldn't seem to be effective.
I forget, how large is this fleet that's coming towards us?
That's an excellent question.
That is
we know it's too
Is it going at
fucking
the speed
big.
of plot? Is it going at the speed of plot?
No, that's not the question. The question is, how big is it?
Is
As
it the
big as
size of plot?
As big as the plot demands it to be. Incredibly big one episode, and
No, we were
entirely
told that
small
there
one.
was a large fleet on the way. We weren't told how many ships,
How many
or
ships
the
there were.
mass.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh boy. So, do we actually get an answer there?
It would help if I was if my mic was on. So the fleet composition.
Okay.
So the fleet composition is exactly 2 of the large crystal ships of the type that the engine encountered in the nebula, 4 of the cruiser type ships that are essentially the size of the engine, and 20 of the fighter class ships, those small ones that are at this point bigger than the shuttles.
So the ones that did almost nothing.
So basically,
Correct.
two dreadnoughts, 4 cruisers, and 20 small things.
That's
Right.
powerful.
Yep, Captain Stark says it right.
When were they warbirds?
So
You guys, the Kismet never encountered those. The engine
Okay.
did.
So the engine on our own was able to destroy 1 of the engines and damage 2 before we had to retreat, and the shuttles were inconsequential. The warbirds ate a quantum torpedo without any effect.
So yeah, we need to come up with something a bit more.
I believe our ships together with the Klingons could handle the engines and the shuttles. The warbirds are the issue.
That's why
Again,
I
we fall
say
back on: is there a possibility of communication here?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
The Imgen has twice attempted to communicate with them.
As
through
has the
automated
Kismet,
message.
but we've only done this through subspace channels.
We did it directly with an audio message from a probe.
But how did you transmit that message? The problem is the audio transmission from the probe would still have been in
Electromagnetic.
subspace channels or in electromagnetic channels. It's not a vibrational message in the same way that sound travels through air.
So as the commander is talking, you guys are interrupted by a loud red alert signal coming from the station. And you hear all hands to battle station.
Ah, son of a bitch.
Enemy fleet is on the way.
Yeah, you literally hear Michelson go, "Son of a."
So
And
that
it's-
all
and
engine
it's blanked out by
crew
one
to
of the
their
alarm klaxons.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look. I'm gonna. I'm gonna
Sorry,
look at Captain Grennan, and just go, and just sort of like nod and start reporting to sick bay.
Captain Grennan nods back.
all Imgen officers to the Imgen now, and then I leave for the Imgen.
Over the before everyone gets up, the admiral comes over the comms. Captains Grennan and Starks, tell me you guys found something?
No, they fucked up. We gonna die.
We have thoughts. We have something we can put into motion, Admiral.
I'm sorry. That was...
We have a few things we could put into motion, actually. And by the sounds of those alarm klaxons, we're gonna have to do it now.
Very good, captains. Make it happen. The fleet is incoming.
The rest of us will form up near the engines captain and look at him ready to energize.
And we're gonna form Voltron.
I wait, but before you guys leave, I turn to Captain Sterix and I say, Captain, I'd like to make overtures to communicate first. And hang on a moment, guys. Sorry about that. Someone came in at like the worst. Goddamn, undercutting my dramatic moment. I turn to Captain Sterix and say, before we do any kind of engagement, I'd like to open up potential diplomatic channels, and if it comes to it where I can end this fight by surrendering myself to this race, I won't hesitate to do it.
Oh, damn.
Stand down, Captain. We will come out, we will meet them. You will have a limited opportunity to speak with them, and then we will have to engage.
Lieutenant Kerr will look over at the other engineer and be like, "We'll have the dishes ready, sir," and nod at him like, "Right? Yeah."
Indeed.
And smile, and then be like, "Off."
So, what tactical solution do we have for this besides
nuke them?
We have shoot them. That's what we've gotten.
I mean, based
If
off
we
the
have, we
knowledge
can try
that
to stun
we
them.
learned.
We can try to stun them. We can try to communicate with them, and then we can shoot them.
I mean, like applying the knowledge that we have, like
Applying the knowledge that we have to shooting them would suggest anything that disrupts the energy rather than the crystal. We most
yeah. So
I do have a question before we actually have to go to combat and everything. This is a question for the GM. Can we actually do this thing where we want to put our phasers to essentially stun?
Yes.
Okay.
We don't know how effective that's going to be, but we can do it.
So talk, stun, destroy.
So
it has to go in that order.
So here's what we're going to do. So we'll officially enter. And if you want to modify, you said phasers, which is fine.
No, we said
Um,
deflector dish.
Deflector dish.
Even better,
Yes.
because that's actually what I have written. So, so with the fleet on its way, and you guys have a lot of time before you get out there to meet the fleet, I am only giving you guys 15 intervals of time to complete the modifications. Each task is going to take 2 intervals of time. And there is going to be 4 tasks, and each task can only be started once the previous task is complete. And no player can take part in more than 1 task.
Ooh.
Okay? And each task
Yep.
each task is an extended task.
What?
Okay, I'll get ready with text. You guys start right.
Engineering, I hope this time, right?
Job 1.
So we have 15 intervals of time total.
Right.
Okay. I'd suggest we split up the different modifications among the 2 ships. They don't both need to carry all of them.
Okay, so this is how it's going to work. The first thing you have to do is, so this is going to apply to both ships, because then the engineers will basically figure out what they have to do and then go to their ships and do it, and that won't be a task. It's the figuring out part at this point in time. So the first thing you got to do is you got to have your science people figure out exactly how they can stun the crystals. So your science medicine people is would probably be used for this. So this is going to be an extended task, difficulty 2, using reason, insight, and or
control.
So hold on. Reason, insight, using your science and medicine. Difficulty 2, work 10, magnitude 3, resistance 2. And you guys should be lucky, because I originally had this team.
Oh, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, wait. What am I missing? You went really fast, so hold on.
So for this first task, it's essentially these people in the sciences and medical departments trying to figure out how they can possibly stun these crystal things.
Got that. Difficulty
So
2.
it's difficulty 2, work 10,
Okay.
magnitude 3, resistance 2.
2. Okay, there we go. Good.
Okay, we can do this.
And remember, you have 15 intervals of time. I wish you guys the best of luck.
We're doomed.
Bender.
He wished us luck.
Con officers have nothing to do.
Again, I lead with Bender. Yep, we're screwed.
Yep, we're screwed.
I would like to state that it was a pleasure serving with all of you.
Can I request a transfer to somewhere I'm not going to die?
This is the
So-
GM maniacal cackle.
So okay, do you want me to first roll my
What about
my focus medicine xenobiology?
I would be okay with that. So we just got to figure out who's being involved in this task, because they cannot assist in any of the other.
I'm gonna figure out how to stun them.
Wait a second. Wait. So anyone who assists won't be able to.
You are correct. You guys have 14 people here.
Yeah.
And whenever we are used for anything, we cannot do anything else.
For the duration of the scene, you are correct.
Oh my god.
Well, if it helps, I can also do engine stuff because of one of my abilities, so I can help with that.
I can help power stuff, but yeah.
Engineering for me.
This here might be a very good opportunity to use support crew.
Definitely.
Determination.
Huh?
Or determination.
That's also true.
Determination like crazy.
I'd like to make a quick interjection.
Sure.
We're talking about making bubbles around certain crystals. Or what would happen if we were to say travel at warp speed and be right up against one and then just turn on our shields so that it envelops part of their craft, but not the whole thing.
Basically, boop them.
But, like,
That sounds like.
but just kind of like get to where like our shield would kind of like bisect the ship in a way.
Yo, boop them. You're gonna boop them. You're gonna
Like
fucking
would
boop them.
would that like would the barrier just kind of hit the outside of the ship and stop, or would it actually go through the ship?
Not important.
Really? Because I was thinking like if we can.
I'm gonna
section off
add
certain-
2 threat to this.
Shut up and let
Yeah,
them,
that's
let
why
them
I
work.
meant it's not important.
Yep, not important.
Okay.
Okay. So who's working on stun biology?
That would be the doctor.
Anybody else?
I'd say I'd say the Kismet will probably. I'd say the Kismet should use one more of its crew support to allow Cecile to continue that advantage.
All right.
And don't forget you have the Lieutenant Kai. That's all. Officer.
Lieutenant Kai.
The medical officer from the engine.
Oh, right. Oh, that's
but
true.
question here: if we're doing this on the Kismet, do we get access to our advanced research facilities?
So as I see this, you guys are trying to work together to figure out how to make communication before you head out to your ships.
Okay.
Oh, really? No, because you said that we had to return to our ships because like red alerts went off.
I didn't say you had to go back to your ships.
But can
Just
we
the red
do-
alert
well,
went off.
We're trying
So if you guys head back to your ships, you guys have to do this separately.
I say we all go back to our ships.
Why would that be better?
Huh?
Why would that be better?
Because our ships can assist.
Okay, what do you want? What did you say?
What?
Sorry, that was my answering somebody else. I apologize.
The question is, would it rule that ships or characters can only assist once?
Yeah.
Question.
No, wait, hang on. Let Ed answer the question that we just asked.
Oh,
so
yes, yes,
so
absolutely.
just like the task previously, I did not allow anything to be the same here.
Okay,
No ship assistance, then we stay on the station.
got it. Fine.
Okay.
Okay,
Remember,
so
remember
say,
guys, plot points.
Yep. So I say that we should have, I say we should have our doctor do the first check and then have their doctor make the second one.
I'm
Right,
not a
should we-
doctor. I'm a nurse.
Nurse,
Nurse with the skills of a doctor.
precisely.
Nursing and doctors are actually very separate skills.
Yeah.
For the purpose of this check, just roll it.
Speaking of, I'm being a nurse someday, so go fuck off.
So
Oh.
anyhow, what are we gonna roll here? Because if we keep talking, he's gonna get more threat.
I think the next thing that I do is I make you lose an interval.
Okay.
Right.
I think that's
Reason science. I assume it is task roll of 3 because I'm using a focus.
No, it's task
No.
roll 2, but you click the focus used and you gain a bonus crit range.
I would
Okay.
say, however, spend a momentum to roll another die because you have cautious medicine.
Right. That bumps Kismet down to 3.
Yep, but yeah, you're both at 3.
Mm-hmm. What's the difficulty?
2.
Oops. I hate when it pings.
And what's okay? That'll do it.
And roll one more die.
Yeah,
'cause
roll
you've got
one more die and then you get a reroll.
So
And
go
then,
task roll 1.
Then Lieutenant Kai roll 1 dice.
Wait, no, because we're gonna have him do.
Oh yeah, you're doing this. Okay, gotcha. That makes more sense.
So roll one more.
Yep.
And by the way, I had leveraged Cecile to give us the advantage again.
Okay. So this is a difficulty 1 then?
Yeah, and I mean it'll only count for this one thing, but whatever.
All right, cool. So Kismet banks of momentum.
You do get to re-roll one of those die.
He did, and he failed.
No, he gets to re-roll one of those die because he rolled 3, spending 1 momentum.
Yeah.
Aha.
The spend of
third
momentum.
die was that third die was rolling. Because,
Gotcha. Nope, I understand now.
So
I understand.
one more level 1 task roll from the nurse, not doctor.
I'd like to say one thing, and that one thing is that today is a good day to die.
Don't say that.
Hey,
Today is a good day to continue living.
Thank you.
Now, the Tellarite over here would say,
Are we
fiercely
gonna
debate that.
Roll it?
roll this second roll, or are we gonna not roll?
Roll the second roll.
Are we gonna do
No
this
threat.
re-roll?
I did the
Nurse?
reroll. That's what the additional.
I-
No,
No.
you spent a momentum to get cautious, which is what gave you that reroll. So you need to roll 1 more.
Yeah, because you roll 3 dice because you spent 1 on momentum. There you
Yeah.
go.
Cool.
So we gain.
One more.
So I got Kismet at 5 momentum, and then Nurse, go ahead and roll me 6 challenge dice.
6 challenge dice. Sorry.
Okay. I'd
that a good-
spend 2 momentum. 1 to get the piercing, and 1 to get another momentum. One more work.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna do that.
yeah.
That bumps us to 5 work total.
And so piercing ignores 2, correct?
Yep.
Correct.
Which is
All right.
exactly what you gave us. Thank you.
2, 3, 4, and then you spent another one to
For,
increase the
1
work,
bonus
right?
work.
Yep.
Okay. So I got you at 5. That will be 2 breakthroughs.
2?
And yeah, for the I lied. 1 breakthrough.
1 breakthrough. The other person
Has to get another 5, correct? So that was 2 intervals.
Guess we're down to 13.
Yep. So Lieutenant Kai, you're going to roll a task roll using your reason or insight with your medicine or science, difficulty 1. I guess this would be difficulty 0.
Are you allowing Cecile to stay around for this one?
For this task, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Till the work is done. I think that's kind of how it works.
Yes.
Did you say science or medical?
Why did you only roll 1 die?
She's still on assist. So
Roll 1 more.
Roll 1 more, Kai.
nice.
All right. So they actually bank 3 momentum from that,
Nice.
and then roll 7 challenge dice.
I think this was a good use of
Crew support?
That was the momentum on Imogen.
Yeah.
Oh, did you not hit? I think you did.
Roll it 1 more time. It enters after you roll it. You just got to do it twice then.
I'd spend one of those to re-roll, or you could. I don't know. How do you want to do this?
1 momentum for piercing, 1 momentum for extra work. That'll complete the work track.
Yeah, that's
So
the
it's-
safest.
Yep. So spend 2 momentum, and then you'll actually get the 5 for the work track. So that's 5 for a breakthrough, and then going to 0 brings you to 3 magnitude. So this task has been completed.
By the way, I'd spend that 3rd momentum that you generated right there and cut that work time in half.
So it only takes 1 interval.
Yeah,
dropping us down to 12.
Because I've done the math, and
Is that a thing?
and we
It is
don't
a thing.
Yeah,
Then we'll do it.
yeah, because I've done the math.
All
and we
right.
don't
So I got both ships down to 3 momentum.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And we're at 12 intervals.
Something just came up, and I have to drop out for the rest of the session. I'm sorry.
Oh,
who was that?
Katork.
Okay,
Sorry.
it's okay.
Yes, Kai, you actually crushed the roll. Okay, so the thing I have written is a little, but basically you guys kind of determined that the energy, kind of like energy through an atom, allowing the crystals to form and hold the shape. And any disruption of that energy should be enough to disrupt the cohesion with the crystals.
But would that give a stunning effect, or would that just be more of the same killing?
It would, if you feel that if you do it in low enough settings, it should create a stun effect.
Okay, great. That's all I care.
Brilliant.
Okay, so then the next task is now you have to modify since you said the deflectors, you have to figure out how to actually use the deflector to weaponize this beam.
We're not trying to weaponize it.
If you're trying to shoot it from a beam in the deflector, it's a weapon. Like, don't worry about the terms. Like, I get what you're doing. This is just how I had it written.
Which ship is this on, real quick?
Both of them.
You guys are still doing combined task. So this will be one or more player from the ships, probably with security. We'll take the information I just gave you from the science team and learn how to make it work into a type of weapon or stun beam, however the hell you guys want to word it. This is going to be an extended task, difficulty 2, work 10, magnitude 3, resistance 3.
Oh God.
Engineering won't help here at all.
It won't.
You could make the case that it could, but there
Well, we're
may or may
technically recalibrating an entire deflector dish.
but there may or may not be an engineering role later.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I hate to ask this. I actually left my book in the car and it's at a shop 10 minutes away from here. What does I'm trying to remember the town's name. I know my ship. What's that do exactly?
It reduces the difficulty of figuring out what's broken on your ship. Like it.
Okay.
What's wrong? It's not applicable here.
Okay. Does not apply here.
Sorry, I had to step away for a moment there. What task are we on now?
It's figuring out how to use the information I gave from the science team to figure out how to create a stun beam using your deflector.
Oh, that's definitely engineering because we got to build it.
It's not the actual next task. This is using that information to make the beam. So it hasn't even gone to the engineering section yet.
Now, just a clarification. The modifications we wanted to make to the deflector dish were for communication. For stunning, we were still looking at using our phasers, I believe.
We already
No,
figured
it's
that
the
out. Though,
deflector.
right? Like I'm really confused.
I'm a little confused here too. I just want
The science role was to figure out how to, but we're getting into the next step of now that we've figured out what the science is. Now we got to start looking how to build it.
Okay,
Right.
and
But we're not
next
trying
step-
to do this with. We're not trying to do this with the deflector. We're trying to do this with the phasers. The thing with the deflector is to talk with them.
That's the part I'm confused on.
Okay, so you guys nixed the communication thing to figure out the phasers. That's where we're at.
What? Really?
That's what you guys told me. You said you wanted to do a stun beam, then I said okay, and you said, so I'm like, okay, you guys get the one test to try to, and then you guys told me that you were going to do it out of the deflector, not the phasers, which I was okay with.
Oh, I thought we were going to be able to do both.
that
you
was my
cannot do
interpretation as well.
you cannot do both.
Oh.
Okay,
Oh.
now I was a little different. I was on the idea that hey, we're going to use the deflector dish to talk,
Yeah.
and then later on use the phasers to stun if we can't talk. So I thought we were
Yeah.
working on the talk deflector dish talk phase.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to try to use the deflector to talk, then that's fine. It's still going to be the same roles, but you won't have the access to the stun weapon.
So we have to choose, which is
Right.
Yeah, we're gonna stick with stun.
Yeah, I think we
I've-
stick with stun, and then if they're
What
stunned,
is-
we
what
can
does
maybe
Grennan
figure out a way
want?
to talk to them.
Yeah.
What do you want, Grennan?
I'm
Because if you want to talk, we can go for that.
I'm gonna talk.
Let him talk.
Add a character. We're Federation.
Right. This gives us no offensive abilities if talking fails, though.
That is
That's
true.
why I
Right.
say stun first.
It gives us no ability to stun them. It doesn't take away our offensive capabilities.
Right, but our offensive abilities haven't been,
Yeah, it'd
let's
be
say, particularly
We've-
effective.
inadequate.
We have 3 ships. I think we can. We might be able.
And they let us go.
Okay, yeah, let's go
They-
for talking then.
They let us go that first time. They might be open to talking. So
My thing is peace through strength. If you don't have the strength, then you're dead.
But
They were coming
you are not the captain, are you?
such a big force.
So let's do the second task.
As
Okay,
you will.
So
Captain.
so you guys are trying to send the communication beam through the deflector. That's what we're deciding. Okay.
Yeah. We apologize. We were under a mistaken impression that we had time for both.
Okay. Right. Cool. So forget what I just said, and we'll go on to the next task. So we're still going to do the same task, still with the security people. So probably reason, insight, security, difficulty 2, work 10, magnitude 3, resistance 3.
If we have insight security rolls, I should do those.
That's right. Varro, you should get on that.
Insight and reason security are my best.
That's probably Starell. You can probably handle insight security, can't you?
Not insight.
Yeah, I can't
Can you do
handle
reason?
insight either.
I can do reason though.
Yeah, you can do reason security. I can do insight security.
I'm at 14 with those. What are you at?
17.
How?
I'm a veteran, and those are my 2 highest stats. I've got a
Nice.
12 insight, 5 security.
Yeah, my presence command
Yeah,
is
very
17
nice.
as well.
Yeah, it's like if you're a veteran officer, your highest score should be a 17, unless you're a little bit more averaged out.
Yeah,
But I've got shit engineering, science, and medicine. So
averaged out.
okay,
Great.
so let's see.
I'd spend a momentum.
Yeah, spending a momentum for extra die.
Do you have a focus?
I'm looking through those right now. Does this count as diplomacy?
I'm going to give it to you.
Okay.
And any talents?
Oh, I should look at talents. Yeah.
If not, I'm not surprised. But
No, really no talents here.
oh, by the way, you need to roll your challenge die to see if you got your determination back.
That was not a determination spend. That was a
That was a milestone spend.
Oh, never mind. You still have
Right.
your determination.
I still have my determination.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, me then. Hey.
3.
Was anyone assisting?
I don't think so.
I thought Starell was assisting.
Yeah, I'm assisting.
Well, but
no, I think Starell is doing another half of the task.
yeah, because if
Oh,
anyone
there's-
assists, it means that they are completely out for the rest of it.
Wait, there's 2 halves to this task?
No, but he's. not
It's an
gonna
extended
finish by
task, though.
Yeah, if it's an
Oh,
extended-
okay. Sorry, I
yeah.
misunderstood something there as well. I thought you could do a roll twice for the same task.
So the characters can roll twice for the same task, but they cannot do another task outside of it.
Oh, okay.
If that makes sense.
So he can assist me here, and then I can roll again, and he can assist me here on the second part.
Correct.
Okay, we were under the impression that you could only do like one thing.
Yeah, because that would be impossible.
Yeah.
Okay,
now
that's
you
a little
understand.
easier.
Yeah. We thought that you could only make one roll, and that is it.
Yeah, no, you can only participate in one extended task.
Okay, that makes
That
more
makes
sense.
more sense. Okay.
Okay, that's okay.
So you guys hit the. So I think you guys actually banked a momentum, if I'm not mistaken. Let me
We
check
did
my
bank
sheet.
We banked momentum here.
You
We're
did.
up to 3.
So then I need Commando Varro to roll me 7 challenge dice.
7 seems to be the number of challenge die for the day.
Yeah.
Well, if you have a 5 in that skill, then it's a plus
Right.
2.
Right. Let's see.
Come on. Okay.
So right now you guys are at 3.
Yeah. Well, I'd
Oh
spend-
wait. Nope. You're actually at 2 because this is a resistance 3. Sorry, I lied.
So I'd spend 1 momentum to bring that resistance down.
Down to 1.
Okay.
So that's 4.
And then I'd spend 1 more to bring it up to 5.
Yeah, I think that's the best use here still.
All right. So I got Kismet at 1. I got Imjin at.
Imjin at what? You cut off.
I got Imjin at 3.
Okay.
So you guys did get 1 breakthrough.
Yeah. So now who's going to do the second roll?
And this is in relation to implementing the research done by the scientists in communication, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Can we get what the scientists got in their research and communication? Because we didn't get the quote unquote fluff for that.
Yeah, it's not. What I have written is not relevant because you went a different. So, yeah.
Oh, I just realized I rolled science, not security. Doesn't matter.
Wah, wah, wah.
What's your?
That's the same.
Yeah, if it's the same, if it's the same, it don't matter. It's the same numbers you need.
Yeah.
So next task, you guys are at 5 out of 15.
We're kind of close.
I'd say you roll
5 out of
again.
15?
You guys are 5 intervals out of the 15.
Oh.
Oh.
Not worth
We have 10 intervals left.
Correct.
Okay, I think we can do this.
Okay,
Yeah, just
so
do what you just did again.
same roll again. I'm dropping momentum down to 0 for Kismet to roll 3 die.
Well, I have 3 momentum, so I could do 4 dice, unless you want.
Yeah, but
to.
Varro has the better stats.
Yeah, I know.
How much momentum do we start with?
You start with 0 momentum,
Yeah.
and you gain it by getting more successes than the difficulty of the task.
So, do you want to go 3 higher chance or 4 okayest chances?
No, Starell, we'll need ours for later challenges.
Yeah.
And we also might need those for this roll, I think.
Yeah, you
We'll
might need to
see.
buy down the resistance.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm using our momentum to give us better chances of success, and then we'd use your momentum to
And the
handle any
difficulty's
more
only 1.
breakthroughs.
Yep.
Because we got a breakthrough.
Right.
Yeah, so this should be difficulty 1 then.
Ah, the next one, yeah.
3.
Oh, that feels good.
We bank
So
2.
So you bank 2.
Bank 2.
So basically, we net gain of 1.
Correct. So then I need Commander Varro to roll 7 challenge dice.
All right.
So I got you gaining 1 currently.
And
Ouch.
spend your 2 from the Kismet to knock down the resistance. And 1 from the engine to get back up to 5.
Yeah.
I think we.
Yeah, if we could do it, we would just have to get rid of everything the Kismet has and 1 of what the Imjin has.
So we'll have 2.
Right.
And that'll do it.
I think we do it.
Let's do it.
So if you use 2 to bring down the resistance, you'll bring it down to 0.
Right.
So then you'll be at 4. So you have to spend 1 more to bring it to 5.
Yeah, and we're gonna
Right.
say the Imjin does it.
Okay, so the engine is at 2.
2.
Right.
And then you guys will achieve this task.
Woohoo.
And we're at 7, which means we're halfway there.
Correct.
Whoa, living on a prayer.
All right, so the next task is going to be to modify the main deflector. These are probably people with engineering scores to basically determine what exactly you are going to need to modify in the deflector to make this happen. So this is going to be an extended task using your reason or insight and your engineering. Difficulty 3, work 10, magnitude 4, resistance 3.
Magnitude 4?
Sure is.
We're gonna have to use like 4 people probably.
Well, I'm available right off the bat. I can
We
use
can use-
reason. I could be 15.
Oh god.
Also, kind of curious, electroplasma power system. Since we're gonna have to rework the dish, would that count in?
I mean,
I'm going to allow it. At this point, I'm going to allow it.
I've got
All
shitload
right.
power systems too, but
Focus activated.
We can send in.
I have
Kerr.
metallurgy.
Yeah, let's send in Kerr and Lyrica and maybe Michelson. And maybe.
Damn it, Greenon.
Yeah. I mean, am I
Oh.
wrong?
No.
That deserves a shot. Hang on.
Captain looks over at Michelson and he's drinking a whiskey and smoking a 20th century cigarette.
Yeah,
Me
half
too,
half
man,
of your
me too.
crew is gonna be pissed before this
Hey.
finishes.
All right.
bro, smoking a cigar.
I got my shot in. All right, so we're gonna have who's the engineer is going to this task.
All of them.
All of
Okay,
them. Yeah, sure.
Lyarka. Who else?
Kerr.
Who's the one that actually has stuff relating to extended tasks?
That would be, I think, me. Where every time I get an effect, I get 1 extra work or something like that.
Yep, that's you. We want you doing this.
Because this one is what, magnitude 4?
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
And the task roll is 4.
No.
Wait. Oh, what? And what are your? Check your values.
Oh yeah, you might get a rock value here.
Who are you talking to, me or
Whoever's making the main roll, yeah.
I have metallurgy.
Values.
Not
Oh,
focuses.
sorry. Let me look at the other one. I apologize.
That's fine.
My head on the other side of the character sheet. Okay.
I have
There we go. We have 2/3 of any task is honesty, engineer at heart, threw out the handbook and wrote my own. Understand machines better than people.
What was that first one?
That was something I made before I understand.
No, what was the first one?
Oh, 2/3 of any task is honesty.
I think that would be an applicable value.
Got to get things done, and when you lie, it takes just too long.
Yeah. What do you think, GM?
All right, so which one are we? 2/3 of any task is honesty.
Now, I would like to invoke my this is my first character in any game ever. Change a word in that to fit better or whatever, but that was something I pulled from when I was making the character sheet initially.
I feel like there's a couple values you could take here to get this done.
Yeah.
You don't need that first one.
Like
I
engineer
think,
at heart.
I think engineer at heart would be good. Throughout the handbook and probably be good.
Mhm.
Okay, so yeah,
Any of
basically
those,
just spend
yeah.
that, get two successes right off the bat.
Click my determination is spent.
And
Those
I
of us that are
There we go.
how to think about this though.
Roll of
Hold on. I'll tell you what I'll do. I will give you another threat, or not another determined point of determination for throughout the handbook and wrote my own. If you try an alternative task, I'm going to make up right now.
What's the task?
So the task.
Trap.
So the task is going to be. It'll be a difficulty 4 task.
Don't do it.
Using whatever stats you want, with a complication range of 4 for using throughout the handbook and wrote my own.
Oh,
Do it. You've already got 2.
If you succeed, the task will be done in 1 task roll. If you fail, you will still succeed at the task. However, the modification to the deflector will cause a complication later in the episode.
Do it.
I think you can do it. Like you already got 2 successes, so you can make it.
For a complication to be named later.
Let's not do that.
No, he can easily manage it though. Like with a momentum, he can easily do this.
It's not about the task; it's the complication range.
Yeah, it's the complication
yeah.
I'm worried about.
But he's
Yeah,
got
that
a
complication
he's got a good score here. He's probably got like a 16 or so in
Okay,
engineering.
17.
He's
So
got a
yeah,
17.
and he's going to get another determination that he could spend on a reroll. Really fucks it up.
Yeah.
I think he can do it easily.
Go for it.
So that's what I throw out there for a complication to be named later. I will let you attempt this in 1 difficulty 4 task with a complication range of 4.
Does
Well,
he get
this
assistance?
is one of those. This is one of those. Oh yeah, that's a good question. First, before I say what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, you can still get the assistance, except your role will have a complication of 4.
Gotcha. And then this is that moment where I as the engineer, look to my captain and say, "Which option shall you have me do, sir?"
I'm
Do
gonna
the risk.
I'm gonna tell you to take the risk. You've already got 2 successes. You only need 2 more.
Okay, so I've now, like I said, I've got metallurgy and all that. So am I able to use that as a focus at least for the die roller?
What focus?
Or my focus, yeah.
Probably not in this case.
No.
Let's
Do you have
see
any
what-
other
What
possible
else do you have?
focuses?
Let's see, composure.
I'll let you use composure.
Biology.
I'll let you use composure.
Okay.
Ooh, excellent. Thank you. Okay, complication range 4. Spinning a momentum to get.
So to get another dice, it'll be 2 momentum.
No, I wouldn't.
Oh yeah, we already got the extra die. Okay, never mind. I forgot I counted.
Yeah, and I'm gonna assist him, which is
You're going to use whatever stats he uses.
Okay.
And he's gonna use whatever his 17 is.
Oh, what are you? No, never mind. Never mind. Not important.
All right, here's mine.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we got the crit, so that's 4.
No,
So
don't
there's-
assist.
That's 4.
Don't assist.
No, the assist does not count for the complication. Just his roll.
Oh, okay.
so he couldn't have any assistance at all.
Okay, that does it. It happened.
Right.
Okay.
No complication.
So as far as you can tell, the deflector is adjusted to send out whatever the hell you're trying to do perfectly.
Oh, thank fuck.
Just like that.
Yeah. Just
Just
like
like
that. Just like that.
Ah, that was badass.
And it didn't cause a complication. Yay!
Yeah.
Right.
And we have time to
And by the
spare.
way, engineer-
So here is the last task, however.
Shit.
Oh.
There is one more thing, and this is an optional task.
Oh, okay.
However, if you do not do the optional task, it is going to increase the difficulty of whatever task I decide it's going to be by 2.
It'll increase the difficulty by red.
Okay, well, what's the task? What is the optional task?
So this is going to be another extended task.
Of course.
I had it for the con officers, so that's who we'll go with.
Who are drunk as shit right now, but yeah, I'm game.
So basically, the con officers have to figure out a maneuver in order to position the deflector to make the correct, I don't know, angle of the pulse or beam, whatever the fuck you guys want to do.
Please tell me I can use control con.
You tell him to do that after he's been smoking and drinking. Oh my god.
So I have this set up as a reason and con, but if you could sell me on the control con, I will allow it.
Oh boy.
And
I
so
got
it's,
one.
so it's going to be extended test, difficulty 3, work 10, magnitude 2, resistance 2.
I'm gonna support them because I didn't get to support an engineer.
And
Oh, hold on. What's the difficulty?
3.
Okay, I've got this. I want to use my value. The helm is my home to spin my determination for a d20 rolled as nat 1.
Okay.
Just gonna keep smoking cigar in the background.
With a Newport 100 hanging from my mouth.
Yeah, he basically just reaches over and hits engage It's already like he's already got it programmed.
Yep.
So whoever wants to roll this one.
Turning into a cluster.
That would be me.
Operations officer smoking a cigar. while scripting
And what is it? Is it Reason Con?
Yes,
Unless
Reason
you can
Con.
sell him on control. So if you have a good sell for control, try it.
I've got a 12 control. I want control bad.
Think of a good reason.
You can do it.
I got reason and con for 13.
I've got
If I can
Reason
assist.
Con for 12.
I've got
Yeah.
it for 14.
Now it could be insight also. It's reason or insight.
That's still a 14.
Yeah.
He's like, give me the hell.
All right. Well, Michelson is going to be the main roller because he spent the determination. So you can go ahead and roll the 2 dice.
Did I roll 2 dice?
Uh,
No, I rolled 1. My bad.
Yep.
I changed
do
the
that
wrong
again.
one.
So right now you're at 3. Now you're at 4. So you guys bank 1 momentum for the engine.
How do I? What's the task roll for this?
Reason con.
Oh, good news. We
No,
also
I mean
do
the
have-
legitimate task roll. Is it 1?
Task roll 1, yes.
Yes.
Complication is
1.
Okay, no focus. Roll. Hey, 2.
Nice.
2 more.
Natural crit.
Guess
So,
what? The Ferengi thought more than you did.
Okay, so Ensign Michelson, roll 7 challenge dice.
Here it comes. Oh, snap! Wrong one. There.
Yeah.
4,
Nice
5,
roll.
6. So right now I have you at 4
Out of how much?
out of 10.
How much momentum did we bank? We banked 3.
I'd get a.
And I got a momentum, don't I?
Yeah, I think the engine got 3 and the Gizmo is 2.
Correct.
I'm gonna spend 1 for penetration or piercing.
Okay.
That should give me 2, 3, 4.
6.
That should give me 6, right?
What's the magnitude on this?
Magnitude is 2.
Okay, so that means 1 more task and you'll have it.
Yep.
Oh boy.
So you guys got 4 work left.
How many intervals?
You got 4 intervals left.
So
Okay.
yeah, and it's only difficulty 1. I just take it easy and
And I each got you at 2 momentum, right?
Mm-hmm.
so I take it easy, not spend any momentum on this, and just because it's only
And just
difficulty
roll it.
1.
Yeah, just do the roll and the assist.
All right.
Assists, I should say.
Ching.
Alright,
yes.
rolling assist.
There we go.
All right, we bank 1 bonus. Go ahead and roll me 7 challenge dice, Ensign.
You only need 4. Okay, and you didn't get that.
So I got you at
Hold on.
I got
That's
you
4.
at 2 right now.
I'm gonna spend for piercing
And we're gonna need 1 more.
and 1 for extra
Well,
work.
I
This-
got
this will
momentum, if
actually-
that helps.
What did I say? I said this is a magnitude 2, so this will give you the second breakthrough just with the 4. Yep.
Okay, cool.
So how much momentum did we have to spend to do that?
1.
Yeah, just 1 to give it the piercing or whatever.
Great.
And which ship was that off of?
It's the engine.
That would have been engine.
Yeah, I still got you guys at 2. Yeah, I still got both at 2.
Yeah, because we gained 1 momentum from that, so we spent that one. So we're
Right.
still at.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so as far as you guys can tell, going to work. You got the piloting maneuvers to get everything lined up. You know exactly what piece on the deflector you have to adjust. The science looks good, backed up by the people in security that thinks this will not damage the crystal. I think that's what we'll go with.
I don't
So-
like how you're like, you think this will work.
You know how I always do it.
Yeah.
And Michelson did all that programming with the computer before he finished his cigarette.
And
somehow
Hen's
the
just
Ferengi
looking
is in
over your
con
shoulder.
helping them.
And as you guys finish that, the admiral calls over all hands to battle stations. Fleets incoming. Captains of the ships, please send out your ships to meet the fleet.
Understood.
I'm going to send a general message across comms, simply saying Godspeed.
Okay.
Captain,
So I
maybe just
assume-
tell the admiral out of character here. Maybe just tell the admiral the plan real fast so she
Yeah.
knows that we're trying to communicate with them.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yep. So I turn to Sterix and I say, the Kismet will take point and attempt to make contact. Be ready for the worst.
I have only a small intention. I have only a small patience for communicating with them because I cannot allow the station to be lost or both of our ships. So you have your one attempt.
That's all I need. It took 5 seconds to get us into this mess. Hopefully it'll take about as long to get us out. Let's do this. Oh boy.
Okay.
Damn it. I had a good moment going there too.
Okay, so the ships head out from the station, and they probably get, I don't know, maybe half a light year away from the station before you guys drop out of your low warp and meet the Crystal Fleet. They are currently at extreme range, and they are set up. I guess I could, I don't know, combat. Sure, we'll go to this one. So they are set up with the 2 larger ships in the back of the formation, with the 4 cruiser ships in front of the larger ships, and then all the fighters are kind of in between the cruisers, grouped into 4 groups of 5 fighters.
Okay.
So if someone just wants to start moving random stuff out, that's cool.
Hey, I'm smoking cigar here, so sure.
Oh god, do you still have all the character sheets up?
Are we in position?
Yeah, you guys are in position looking at the fleet at extreme range, kind of side by side, I would say.
Okay. All's ready.
Pew. Boo. Ooh.
Pew 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 pew.
What's the name? What's the name? Why am I... What's the name of the ops officer? I don't see it on the list.
The operation, like the Kismets or the?
Yeah, because I don't see the name on our list.
Oh yeah.
Lord Dell.
Teamwork. Yeah, that's me, the one that's smoking a cigar right now.
Oh yeah. I forgot he changed his sheet, so I took him off. Hold on.
Lieutenant,
What?
open a channel.
Okay. I open the channel. There you
All
go.
right.
Have fun. Try not to die.
So as you open the channel, the screen shows one of the larger ships, and out of the front of a larger ship makes kind of a face out of the front of the ship, and your view screen focuses right on the front of the ship, and he says, and the voice says, "Ah, Captain Grennan, the naive one speaks fond of you."
The naive one. And he smiles. The little girl. So, you know my name, and I've already told you who I represent. We represent a peaceful coalition of planets. What happened on your world was a tragedy, and one that I deeply regret. it's my hope that we can work together and try to get past this, because violence is the last thing I want. The last thing I want is for there to be more loss of life between our two peoples. Ever since we got back to our station, ever since we got back to our home here, all we've been doing is try to understand you. And while there's still a lot we don't know, I like to think that we've come a little bit closer. Now,
That's big talk, Captain, seeing as though you murdered dozens of our people. Dozens of our... how am I going to say this?
Dozens of our children are young. I don't know.
Compatriots,
Allies.
yeah.
brother,
Brothers, sisters.
Our own.
fathers,
That's probably fine. Dozens of my brothers and sisters were killed by your two ships' hands.
I understand. No amount of platitudes can make up for the loss of life. I understand that actions are sometimes the only thing that can make things right. And so, the words I spoke earlier today to my fellow men will not ring home. It is coming to this. And he stands down off the chair and he holds out his hands and he says, I put myself at your mercy. Me alone, I take responsibility. If you wish to take me and put me on trial, I accept whatever punishment comes my way. But-
Roll your command presence difficulty 5.
Okay. Can I get some momentum for this? What do we have?
I will throw you my momentum.
Right, we're like all of it.
I only have one because I've only created one. So how about they take my momentum?
Okay.
So the Kismet has 2 momentum.
Okay. Okay. So guess I can only spend one of it. Right?
Check something.
Determination.
No, I'm just saying I can only spend one of it, right?
Currently, yes.
So I get 3 dice. I am spending my determination. So I am already 2 successes. I'm gonna roll 3 dice.
All right, so that's going to be both of your momentum because the dice buy is after the determination buy.
That is fine.
That's right.
So,
Also, can I give momentum or no?
No.
Momentum is a pool, so we all have the same momentum.
yeah.
Oh, never mind.
So,
Then I've been doing it wrong. Okay.
so I have
Just
a
the 2
focus in
ships have different.
diplomacy. Roll 3 dice. Presence command. 17. Oh, hang on. I do have a talent. Diffuse the tension. Difficulty goes down by 1.
That works for me.
Nice.
So difficulty is 4. I also have cautious command. I can re-roll.
Now, I have a question. Feel free to veto this, Ed. Can I assist with my composure?
No, this is my thing. I would say no, probably.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no because this determines what happens.
All right, just wanted to throw it out there.
I have to get 2 successes.
See, we were looking for that scene where in front of the guy where people just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh,
Okay. That did it.
2 successes.
I succeeded.
Plus,
Captain, you should know as much as anybody that we have no use for prisoners. We have always been a peaceful people. We have no need for jails. We have no need for killing. It wasn't until your people came where we even introduced to this type of violence. However, since the naive one speaks so fondly of you, we have decided that you and your crew will come back to our planet so that we may work out some type of peace deal, so that this never happens again.
It would be our honor.
The coordinates will be as followed, and the screen goes blank, and the fleet turns back the way they came.
Have they transmitted coordinates?
Not yet, because that will be next week.
That was awesome.
Damn.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Oh my god, this game is amazing. Can I join permanently?
As soon as we have a spot.
I mean, you can just picture Michelson on the bridge with the Newport 100 hanging out of the corner of his mouth, both his hands on the console, just waiting and thinking, "Man, I wish I had my fighter."
Yeah, well, your operations officer was smoking cigars, so.
So
You two are really.
Wait, before we end, can I have one more scene?
In the comments, we're gonna be.
I will let you have one more scene, Captain.
I would like to have a scene with Captain Styx.
By all means.
I mean, set it up for me, because unless you're just calling onto the bridge.
Right? Because otherwise it's like, engineering, we're still here.
No. This would be like a cut forward to us on Narendra.
Who's there is what I'm asking. Who's there? Where are we? Set it up for me.
Actually, although, I suppose, yeah, we'd do this on Narendra before going on to our next thing, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
You'll let us do that.
Yeah.
For the sake of having a nice scene.
Yep.
So it'll be the two of us in. I know exactly where I want this to be. You know how, like, on a station of this size, you'd have a war room?
Yeah.
Oh, and it's
In the
right
box?
after the ambassador has given you all the fluff of "you did a good job." Okay, dismissed, and she walks out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, go away before you take my job.
Well, she left the war room and left you two to go back to her office, kind of thing. You know? So now you guys have the chance to.
Well,
Yep.
Captain Sterix. Looks like 5 seconds was all I needed.
Oh my.
Get a room.
Actually,
5
Captain,
seconds, goddamn. Is it jizzing jet?
I have been too long in the Dominion War. I've been too long fighting the Borg. This morning, I thought you were an inexperienced captain who had no reason to be given command. And now I see that I may be the one whose usefulness as a captain has been overstayed. You've shown me that we don't have to be at war anymore.
I appreciate that, but your importance isn't overstayed just yet. I got unbelievably lucky today. Tomorrow, our luck might run out, and if that's our fate, so be it. And when our luck does run out, and the chips are against the wall, and there is no nice way to talk out of it, I'm gonna want a captain like you in the Imjin at our back.
Maybe. But I have a feeling your skills as a negotiator may make the Imjin unnecessary in the future.
Let's hope. And Harmon reaches out his hand to shake once again.
I mean, I grab his arm and shake it.
Very good. Clear skies, Captain.
Starix nods and leaves.
And I suppose the last shot of the episode would probably be the two ships flying away from Narendra.
Mm-hmm. Probably.
Well, there we go.
Great scene there.
Did mine finish up, or did I mute my mic again?
This is the first we've heard from you in a bit.
Okay, so you guys are flying away from Narendra, and the final scene is the Kismet breaks off to start heading toward the crystal planet.
Cool.
So, what did you guys think?
Oh my god, that was awesome.
He follows the third rule of acquisition. Never spend more for an acquisition than you have to.
IGN,
It
7 out of
definitely-
10, too many extended tasks.
Yes. The mission should have
was a
been
lot.
the extended task. Literally, that should have been the title of the entire damn mission.
A line in the extended task.
Out of 5.
So, you know,
I really love the method you did at first. With the first one, when we were gathering our own forms of information, we had to basically make our own conclusion out of that.
That was, I thought, a really well constructed set of scenes.
yes, that was great. For me, I think it was just the way we had to do another set of extended tasks later that kind of dragged.
Yeah.
I think it
the,
was
the
also-
second sequence probably did.
It was also probably the best way to handle that. Like, if it had been anything other than an extended task, I don't think it would have felt quite right. Like, just
Right.
the necessity of the construction here made it a little lengthy.
I feel like you see, I think what you could have done to make that better is instead of making it a series of 4 extended tasks, made it one really, really big, gigantic extended task.